I wanted that actually right here.
Okay. I'll be right here.
So,
the last one. Hello and welcome to Certified Amateur. I was about to say that. Hello and welcome to the Determined.
You're literally my least favorite person.
Determined?
Determined what?
Predetermined.
I can't even do it anymore. I can't look.
It's hot, man. Okay.
It's hot.
All right.
Here.
I haven't done this in 3+ months, right?
Yeah, we're out of practice.
All right. Hi, welcome to the Preferred Dimension review of
The Last of Us Part 2.
Yeah. Highly anticipated.
Highly anticipated.
The Last of Us Part 1.
My favorite game.
Favorite game of all time? It's one of my favorite games of all time. I would give it a 10 out of 10 masterpiece. Would you?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
The first one? Yeah.
What do you like about the first one? What made it like separated from like other games that you played?
Right. Well, what separates it for sure was the story. I mean, of all things, it's a story-oriented game, I think.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those games that's very driven by it, and I think it did it the best. It's emotional. It's, like, intense. I think a lot of times when I see a story in a video game, I might have a little disbelief in how much it affects me. You know, I might be like, this is interesting, it's fun to play, but did the story really get to me? This was like watching a movie. It was like watching a really good movie. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I think stories would... I mean, I love the gameplay too. I love almost everything about the game. Actually, probably everything about the first one. I played it multiple times. You know, like 2 or 3 times now, and I feel like I like it every time. Probably even more than I did before. So
I think I got it when it released. I was super hyped for it. It came out right before the PS4 came out in 2013, mm-hmm. And I think I've only really played it once.
Really?
Yeah. Maybe twice, but it's been years, and I don't really remember how it felt to play. I remember the story elements after 7 years because it's so memorable, all the characters, and like it just goes at a like the pace of it is beautiful. Characters, the interactions, Joel and Ellie, all the characters, and the ending, it's great, and I love stealth horror. It's like my favorite genre. So we get to the Last of Us Part 2. Most hyped up game in a long time.
Yeah.
And but you see the trailers, and I don't want to spoil it. Okay, there's a little bait and switch. How did you feel about that?
Didn't like it. I hate when they do that in anything. Marvel does it in their movies a lot, mm-hmm. in the trailers, and I hate that. And this one, I just didn't. I don't know why they did that. There's the first trailer. I'll just brief spoiler, I guess. It's not really a spoiler because it didn't happen. Mm-hmm. But that whole first trailer with like Ellie in that house, and that whole scene's not in the game.
It's not
at all. It was. I guess it did set the mood.
I think that's what it was for.
Yeah, but that whole scene was completely rendered, and not in the game. I don't know if maybe. Do you know if that was originally gonna be in the game? That scene. Do you know anything about that, or do you not know?
No, I have no idea. Okay. And you know why? Because I don't pay attention to trailers. It did set the mood for it, like, you know, a revenge plot. But most of all, I just don't pay attention. I just look at it because I'm probably watching what was going on. I don't know when it was premiered, but I watched it. I was like, okay, yeah, The Last of Us, I'm hyped. And just stay away from it. It'll come out when it does. And see, like, trailers, they, like you said, like the Avengers, like in Marvel movies, like they lie. Like most movies, they don't have most of what they have in the trailers. Mm-hmm. And you see, watching movies, like I feel like I was lied to. But and like also there was a game called Watch Dogs where it had such a better trailer than the actual game that came out. I don't know if you ever heard of it.
I've heard of it.
Yeah. And after that, because I was so hyped for that, I bought it when it released, and it was complete disappointment. So trailers, no. If I know I want to play it, I'm not going to watch the trailer.
Yeah, and you know, that's how I felt about Last of Us 2 as well. As I watched the first trailer, I think I did also watch the second, more fake trailer, which I did watch that one as well. But I didn't, read any of the leaks, spoilers, nothing. And I really didn't read any articles about it beforehand. I was like, I already know I'm going to buy the shit out of this game. The day it comes out, all I need to know is when it's coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I just want to mention, You ever heard of Crunch? The video game Crunch?
You mean like the idea
The
of crunch?
Oval. Oh, yeah, yeah. Like Crunch is like the
I know what you're talking
company.
about.
Yeah, company overworks their employees because they have to reach a goal like a certain release date. That's why many games get pushed back, and it's like a huge problem in the video game business. And I can see why because that's the length of this game and like how much detail in this game. But I disapprove of that a lot, and I kind of lost respect for Naughty Dog because that's one of the best companies going, and I feel like they shouldn't overwork their employees like that. You can always push it back. There's always other games to play, other stuff to consume, and I really don't like that. And I had to like call them out for that. But I just wanted to like talk about that stuff because there's a lot of controversy, all the leaks that came out. Um, yeah, so let's get to the game. What do you the overall review of it? Short before we get to the spoilers.
Yeah, we're gonna do a brief kind of spoiler-free review. So, overall, I was really hyped for this game. Obviously, it's the first one's my favorite game of all time. Like I said, so the expectation was never gonna be met for this one. I don't think I felt a lot similarly to The Dark Knight Rises because at the time The Dark Knight was my favorite movie, right? So I kind of felt the same way about this game. Like there was no way it was gonna beat the predecessor in my mind.
It's like a perfect storm of combination of combat, gameplay, and story. It was just perfectly done. So
for me,
yeah, me too. So
exactly. So it was like, so I had that high expectation. So I just want to make that disclaimer before I say anything else because I don't think I liked it as much as the first one, and I think I'm gonna get into why obviously in more detail, but there were some choices made in terms of the story that I did not agree with, and I think it served the plot. And there's a few different plots in this one. I don't say what they all are because that would spoil it, but there's a few different storylines going on, and I don't really agree with the way that they executed telling them. I think I like more linear storytelling, and I know that that's me, and that's my preference. Some people like non-linear storytelling. I think it's harder to do that. I think it's
too.
Yeah, and I think this game kind of proves that it isn't always done successfully. So I definitely like the story in the first one a lot more. All that being said, I think there's a lot of improvements from the first one in terms of gameplay. A lot of new features I really liked, new things that you're doing within the game. I think just I felt way more involved and at risk as the characters in this game. Like I could die, and I was only playing on medium, and I was like I played games on hard like God of War, and I was like it was too hard to the point where I wasn't having fun. I was doing the same mechanics, over and over again, and it would take me like a half hour to kill a boss, and I'd just be like tired by it, and I wouldn't even enjoy it. So I was like, I switched to medium, and God of War like halfway through it, and then I thought it was too easy. But
yeah,
I only
perfect mix of hard and
right,
like be able to beat it.
Right, and I only bring that up because that's why I started Last of Us 2 on medium. Or on like the normal difficulty because I thought that same thing might occur, and I just wanted to enjoy it. I just wanted to go through the game and experience it once. But honestly, after doing all that, I feel like I want to play it on hard now. Like I feel like I'm probably gonna enjoy that even more because there's a lot of new features and like the way they do stealth now. I thought they completely changed that from the first one, and I think they made a lot of improvements in that. And you have more options than you did before in terms of weapons. I'll get into it later, but there's one thing I really loved about the weaponry in this one. So, a lot of improvements in gameplay, visuals. I mean, Last of Us, the first one was a PS4 game before the PS4.
Yeah,
it was. And this one, I feel like is the same way.
I'm sorry. I look back at the Last of Us like today, the original. I was like, wow. I thought this game could not look any better, but the Last of Us Part 2 is so much better looking.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I'm always telling myself, like, it can't get better than this. It can't get better than this. And it does.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say exactly that. That's exactly what I was going to say. I was like, I was blown away. And I think, like, this is probably the same way where, like, this looks like next gen to me. Like, this looks like it's ahead of the current gen, which is insane to me. So, yeah.
It's impressive. Okay, so Last of Us is one of my favorite games of all time. Probably my top 5. And, like story, gameplay, perfect to me. Just the only thing was the AI was kind of finicky on the. That's only like my real criticism of it. Uh, I was hyped for this. I mean, I bought it when it first came out, and I knew it wasn't going to meet the expectation because I heard like the leaks and like oh people were mad about it. I was like interested because I like how divisive this game is. Some people just absolutely love it. And some people actually hate it. Most people seem like they hate it for a certain reason, but I think this was a very bold move by them.
Mm-hmm.
And at first, I mean, actually, I'm not going to talk about it too much. At first, I wasn't like that, affected by what happened. But more it goes on. Like, man, I can't believe they did that. But I think they're better off with what they did in the story. But like you were saying, non-linear storytelling, especially in video games, is hard, and it's kind of like iffy how they did it, and a little bit more restructuring. And my biggest criticism of the game is too long, too long.
It is.
If it was, it'd be a lot better. But and then of course like the PlayStation's great. We'll talk about that later. Gameplay, it's the best part. I fucking love it.
Yeah, I did too.
This is my type of game. I love the first one, and I've always loved stealth, and I love horror. That's my two favorite genres in video games, and I think they iterated it on it perfectly, and I feel just I want to play it again. I played it on hard, and I didn't use listen mode, and because I enjoy horror games, I need a challenge, and they gave me that challenge because I died a whole bunch of times.
Can I tell you something? I actually like stopped using listen mode like halfway through. Even though I could use it technically, I just stopped using it because I was like, I enjoyed it more when I wasn't doing that.
It's like it takes
felt
you,
more real.
Yeah, it takes you out of it.
Yeah.
Because I don't remember you really using it in the first one.
You did, and you know what? I played the first one on like medium the first time, then I played it on hard the second time, and just like in this one, if you play it on hard, you don't have the listen mode. So I was like, where is that thing? Like,
Yeah.
I remember using it in the first playthrough, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and I was actually glad for it in this one. They did dumb it down a little bit. I guess mild spoiler. They dumbed down the listen mode. It's not
I don't know. I didn't use it once.
Right.
So you said it's more power. It says less power.
Less power.
Okay.
They do like you can enhance it. Like there's upgrades you can get in the game that will actually allow you to enhance the listen mode and but for the most part when you start out playing as the characters who have the listen mode, it's not as you don't see like it's not like detective mode in Batman, right? You can't see through walls. You see like a blob. It's kind of interesting. So it's like a blurry little blob, kind of how it would be if you were hearing a sound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like kind of like you're the clickers.
Yeah. And if they stop making the sound, it like fades.
I like that.
Yeah. It was more realistic.
Yeah. But I think it's a lot better. You don't really need it because you have the camera. I think that's a good enough advantage.
Yeah.
And then like the type of game it is, like really realistic, gritty game. It's like no gamey elements to it really, except for like some of the enemies. I think it fits just not using it and just have a good pair of headphones like I had, and it's great. So you want to get to like the review?
Let's dive right in. All right. From here on out, we're gonna spoil this whole fucking game.
Yes.
Like we're gonna spoil literally everything. So if you don't want a spoiler, you have literally 5 seconds to just fuck off. And thanks for watching.
Would you recommend somebody buying it full price?
Full price?
Or wait for it?
I don't know.
Or don't ever
know.
buy again.
I don't know. I would say buy it at some point. Don't not play this game.
Yeah, I think
this game, no matter what, you might not like it, but I think it's worth a playthrough. I'd say if you like the first one, if you love the first one like I did, you should play this one. Absolutely. I don't think there's any reason that you should skip out on this game just because I don't like it as much as I like the first one.
If you enjoy stealth action, stealth survival horror, I think you should definitely play this because it's great. The gameplay is great. If you don't really like longer games or like games that have like an involving story, I think you should maybe pass on it because just play The Last of Us because that game is a little bit better to me. So I think everybody should like try this game once because it's like an experience.
It is, yeah,
like no other. So let's get into it. So
all right.
Let's talk more about the presentation. So what do you think about like the overall graphics?
God, like I was just saying, like I couldn't believe it. My breath was taken away by some of the scenes, and early on, just how detailed everything is. The characters, like the pores in their skin.
Oh man,
I hate hair in video games.
hair is terrible in video
It always
games.
looks terrible, and this one it looked pretty good.
Yeah,
It did not. It still has that same problem that a lot of video games have with like realistic looking hair, but I think this one it was better.
yeah, it was.
Than most games.
You got a base PS4, right? We don't have PS4 Pro, so
No,
it makes a difference. It makes it
I
look
didn't
better.
know that.
Yeah, it does. It's like HDR or something like that. It makes it look
Okay.
better. That's what I've heard. And somebody from my job, he actually bought a PS4 Pro just to play this
How
game.
much more money is it?
It's like $400 or $300.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm like, no. I've had mine since launch. I'm good. It works just
Yeah.
fine. But I think the game looks stunning.
Amazing.
And just especially how much it is, like how much content it is, and how good it looks constantly. I think as I played Resident Evil 3, the remake, it's a much shorter game. I think that game might look a little bit better in terms of lighting and just like the environment. But that game, it's only like 6 hours long. So yeah, 6 or 7 hours long. I mean, I played 40 hours in it, but I put 40 hours into it. But it's like the scope of this game and how good it looks it's insane.
It's insane.
Yeah, and I think the best thing about like the presentation is the animations is so realistic. Everything's so fluid, and it's the best facial animation.
Like
It's the best I've ever seen.
they look like they're just really acting. Like
It looks like real people, like or like an animated movie, like
right. And like
animated.
maybe you're not like, oh, I'm watching real people in like a filmed environment, but you're like, damn, these people, their movements.
I can feel like it feels like
yes, like
they're real
people.
people. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm so glad you said that because I was gonna mention that as well. Like I was blown away, just nuances, stuff like the way they would stand,
Body language,
tilting,
is crazy.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah,
that's so realistic.
And that makes it like, okay, I want to talk about the writing soon, but it makes like just mundane scenes so much better.
Oh yeah.
So in like video games have struggled with that because most people are making video games. They're just concerned about the game and not like the story, and like they're not directors, movie directors. So, yeah. But I have to give it to them. The directing, the blocking, the like just everything was done. So the voice acting is amazing.
Yes.
Joel, he's like Troy Breaker.
Yeah.
Like he is so great.
He is.
Like he's not okay. He's not in it that much.
Well, we're in the spoiler part.
Where I am. Okay, he's not in it that much, but he is so great.
Yeah.
Ellie, everybody.
Yeah.
It's from top to bottom. There's nothing. It's a lot of money put into it. I could just tell them like it's a lot of time, and I appreciate that. What about the sound design and like the soundtrack? What do you think?
Also great. Like I don't know if you know this, but the one song that they started playing, the first song that like Joel plays for Ellie is a Pearl Jam song.
Yeah, I heard. Yeah,
I know that song. And I was like, oh my god,
I knew you'd be excited.
It's in the game. Cool. I love that. I love those little scenes with the guitar and like. I mean, sometimes it was a little much, but I thought it was cool. You could there's just a little mini game. You could play guitar in this game.
Yeah, it's actual. You can play.
You could pick
songs.
Chords and strum chords.
Yeah, I thought it was just like cool. A cheap. Like, I was like, oh, okay, we're just doing that. Like, but I learned later that you can actually play songs.
You can play a whole song if you know how to play guitar. or you know the song on what chords they are. Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to hear your opinion on it. So
I did like that. I like that. It's I didn't sit there for an hour playing the guitar because it's not great guitar, but it's a cool little addition. I thought it was nice too, and it's a actual visual symbol of the
relationship between
exactly.
Yeah, so it has something. It's important to the story.
Yeah,
and it's just a cool I've never seen that in a game before.
No, me neither. I thought that was cool. Nice, and it adds more to the game than just being a straight up shooter, and I like that. I like little details like that kind of put you into the world that they're in.
Man, okay, let's talk about the little details real quick. Man, there's so many little details, like the world building. Like, you go to each place and you look around, it's like this place is lived in. Like, every place has a little different personality. It feels like a real place. And the scope of the game is huge, and they put so much work into it, and I appreciate that. Also, like one of the things I was just stunned by. I think other games have done this, but this game did it like the best. When you like kill somebody, the enemy, like one of the enemies, like they see their friend's body, like they're like, oh, it's Jeff, like Jeff, oh
So
my
glad you
god.
mentioned that. You told me about that a couple months ago, I think, right? Did you know about that?
No, I don't think so. Oh wait, I think
You told me about it.
I think
'Cause
I've
then
heard something about it.
It rang a bell when I was playing. I was like, I think Jeremy mentioned that like a
Mhm.
couple months ago when we were talking about it.
Yeah, and
I love that feature, by the way.
when I first hear it, I'm like, what? Did he just say?
Yeah,
Are they real people? Because it makes it more real. It makes it
harder to kill them.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're brutally killing people.
Yeah.
It's not like just like oh Uncharted like a little ketchup bottle. I mean ketchup. It's you're destroying people's faces like mutilating them.
There's a word for I don't is it dissonance or something?
Brutal narrative dissonance.
Yes.
Yeah. I was gonna bring that up.
Yeah. I love that like this game does not because like
Uncharted has looted.
They have it. Yeah, I was reading some article actually after I finished the game, and they were talking about that and how like Uncharted, Nathan Drake's a mass murderer.
Yeah,
he killed all these people, and you're supposed to love him. And The Last of Us does not care.
Same thing with BioShock Infinite. You just played it recently.
Yep.
He's like a brutal. He's killing everybody.
Everybody.
Yeah, and it's just like it's not that made a big deal. It's like little like if they don't know. It's like the gameplay and the narrative is conflicting. So somebody's like a good guy, and the cutscene's narrative, but he's killing everybody. It's little narrative dissonance, like dissonance. But yeah, that's not it. That's not in this.
No, not in this one. They don't.
Everybody's a fucking killer, and it's shown. It's not.
Yeah, and it's brutal. And I love that little like addition. And I will admit, my biggest criticism of that feature, I was going to mention it in gameplay because I thought it was more of a gameplay thing, but I guess it's also in the sound design. But my biggest criticism is that they kind of ran out of names. Like, I heard a couple of times, Skylar, or...
Really?
Yeah. I was like, oh, come on, man. Like, you can't just name another girl besides Skylar. I heard it at least twice or three times.
I didn't hear that.
In different areas.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah.
But if that's true, that's a big oversight. It was so many names.
I remember hearing the name Skylar at least I think 2 or 3 times, and not just in like the same area where like I died and like killed that person again. I mean like in one area with like I think a different faction of enemies that you were fighting, because there's a couple different types of human characters you fight in this game.
Yeah.
There's like the
scars,
the
wolves, and I mean the Jackson people. I don't know
whatever. And the guys at the end, I don't think.
Rattlers. That's what.
Rattlers. Yeah.
Yeah, they just kind of introducing other type of people.
Yeah, I'm gonna get to that too.
Yeah. But I like the scars though. Like,
I thought that was
crazy.
Really interesting.
The religious cult. I guess they introduced by whistling. When you're in the woods, I'm like, why do I hear whistles? And then you get shot by the arrow. I'm like, oh, and they communicate through whistling. That's so smart. Yeah. And then eventually they start like acting like just normal people. Like when they see somebody like of their own get killed, they start like, oh no, it's Jeff. It's Jeff.
Yeah.
But because the facade is gone. But we'll get to that later.
Oh, you know what I want to mention too while we're on it, because it has to do with this the emotional effect. Mm-hmm. How did you feel when the first time you had to kill a dog? I felt like you would.
Oh man,
especially.
Oh, okay, all right. I'm gonna disappoint you, man. Okay. Okay. If a dog is attacking me, I'm in it. I don't care.
I am too. I would kill a dog.
Oh, okay. All right. Because people.
No, I would.
There was a big controversy because they say you don't have to kill a dog before the game came out, and I guess you do. Spoilers. I mean, we're already in spoilers.
Yeah. Spoil it.
Ellie has to kill a dog that they're like introduced later on, like, oh, it's Alice, and they're like friends with Abby, and you have to kill a dog. And I mean, I was killing dogs left and right. I'm sorry, they're attacking me.
There was so many times where I don't feel like I could have gotten through like a area if I.
They're the worst enemies.
They're hard.
They're the hardest enemies.
They're fast. They can get you from far away.
Yeah, they can smell your ass.
Yeah.
Yeah, my ass was stinking. Nobody in there. Everybody in that freaking world stinks.
Yeah. No deodorant, no showers.
Yeah.
I didn't even think of that.
I don't know. I was just thinking about that.
Man, no, now I think about it like, man, everybody in that game must really stink.
Yeah, I've never seen somebody take a shower. You ever seen that?
Well, how can they? How do they have running water?
Exactly. That dirty ass water, flooded water in Seattle. Yeah, I was just thinking about that, and yeah, the dog thing. I'm sorry. I know people like dogs more than humans, and I understand that. I do too.
But did you feel something when you had to do it? Because I feel the same way about you. Like if a dog was coming at me, I would fuck it up. But at the same time, in that game, I was like, man, the first time I had to kill a dog, I was like, damn it, like I didn't want to do it. Like
I'm. I don't remember. I don't remember feeling the impact of it.
you're a soulless killer.
We'll get to that. I felt like it, and it felt good, but but the dog thing, of course, like I feel a little more sympathy for the dog, especially like if I have to like sneak up on it. But if it's attacking me, like I'm in the moment, it's like okay, it's a dog, okay.
There was like a couple moments in this game where, because the way it works is that like the dogs are always commanded by like a person that like is telling them to go sniff out the person or sniff out the trespasser or whatever. So what I would do in stealth was I would kill the person with the dog first. The dog gets like emotional. It's like,
yes,
where's
yes.
my owner?
I was gonna say that. I forgot to say that. Yes,
they fuck with you in this
yes,
game, man.
yeah. Like
They
the
do.
little details really put it over. Like other games don't do that.
No, they really tried to
thought
make
of
it,
everything.
Yeah, they wanted to make it as hard as possible to kill people emotionally.
Yeah, it's whining and like, and I thought of my dog. I'm like, no.
Like,
Okay, that's the part. That's the one thing that I kill his owner. I'm like, come on, man.
It fucked me up. Yeah,
like, if that dog comes after me, like, what do you want me to do?
Same. Yeah, I mean, like I would kill the dog if it was trying to kill me. I like you said, I would, but I'm
sorry for all the dog lovers. I'm a dog lover too. Okay.
Yeah. But that's why I wanted to mention it, because this game definitely makes you like question your morality in a lot of ways. I thought that was one that's like I knew that was going to get a lot of people.
Yes.
Yeah.
About the soundtrack, I thought the soundtrack was good. It's more understated.
Yeah, it's subtle, but I think it fits the tone so well.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
sometimes like the music just hits, just like subtly and like at the right moments, especially in some of the flashbacks, and we'll get to that. I don't know. It's just I don't like remember like a certain track, but it stuck with me. Like, and you notice it.
It's really just subtle acoustic guitar. A lot of it. It's just kind of like a ding, you know, nothing crazy. But I thought it really fit the tone of like that world, kind of desolate and destroyed, and also sort of organic. It worked. Yeah.
And I don't really like orchestral like music, and
you don't like a baroque sound. I think is what you don't like.
Baroque. What?
What's
a baroque sound?
I don't even know. I think I don't know what it means, but I could identify it. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
Yeah, I think you don't care for that.
I probably don't.
You like industrial music that punches your eardrum.
Yes. I like punching infected people. Okay.
Yeah.
In the game. All right. Let's get to the. Now let's get to the story.
Oh yeah.
Story, characters, writing, story. Okay, Louis, you want to start with the overall story or the characters?
I think they're kind of intertwined, but let's start with structure. How about structure? Because I think that was the biggest thing I wanted to talk about.
Hold on. Let's talk about the main thing that made everybody crazy. What do you think about Abby killing Joel within like the first 2 or 3 hours?
It was even sooner than that, I think. But
like an hour. Like it's like the first major event.
It was. It starts the game, I would say. That was really the moment that catalyzes the whole game. I don't even think you get into actual gameplay until after that event or around that time.
Yeah.
But yeah, doing it that early surprised the hell out of me. And like I said, I did not read any spoilers or leaks or nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I figured Joel was probably going to die at some point in this series. I did not think he was going to make it out alive.
Not a chance.
Probably not in this game. I could definitely tell that focus was shifting to Ellie.
So I mean, she's on the box art. Oh,
right.
By the way, put the box art right here. Right here. It's trash. I hate that. I hate the close up of the main character all like like make some actual fucking box art so I can display it properly.
Right, I think I've seen it because when you download the game, is it that one image of her?
Where she's like,
I like that. I like it.
The first one is way better.
The first one's like the two of them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's pretty cool too.
There's no like artistry to it. It's just a render of the face.
It's a mood setter. It's mood.
There's a lot of... Okay, let's go on. I'm sorry. I just had to mention that. Just make sure.
He had to rant about the box art.
Okay, go ahead.
What was I even talking about? You threw me the fuck off. Oh, okay. Joel. Okay, yeah. So Joel's dead.
Yeah, he's dead. He dies. He's a real person.
And I wasn't frustrated. Like, a lot of people seem to be. I didn't mind it. I thought it was a good way to set off this whole story. Like,
Me too.
yeah, if you're gonna do it this way,
I
like,
was alone.
no, I mean, like, I didn't know where the fuck the story was gonna go, to be honest. And like,
that's a good thing.
I thought it was a good thing.
Yeah.
I thought that was a really good thing that they kicked it off with this shocking event, and then you're like, well, fuck, what's gonna happen now? And who is this person? I also want to talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
So the person that kills Joel is Abby, who you end up playing as for like half the game, right? But
I feel like more than that.
More than that.
Yeah.
But
that's bold. Go ahead.
It was, yeah. But when you're starting off with meeting Abby, the first time you meet her, you don't really know who the fuck she is.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know anything about her,
Well,
and I want to mention I didn't think it was worth it, the kind of mystery surrounded her, because you don't know for half the fucking game who she is.
Okay, it's not. Well, how I felt when he died. I mean, I heard a spoiler that he was gonna die. I mean, I already knew that he was gonna die. It was obvious. From actually just from the mood of it, like the box art, like just the mood of the trailer. I felt like he was gonna die.
Yeah.
But I didn't know he was gonna die like that soon.
Yeah, that soon.
And they're gonna have us play as the killer. But when he died, I was like, I felt like, okay, yeah, I felt like it was deserved.
It made sense.
It makes sense because what he did the game before.
He's not a good guy.
Yeah, he's not really. Yeah,
even Ellie's like he had it coming.
Yeah, and then the whole entire game, like he's lying to her still about what happened, and he murdered a whole bunch of people, and they show from their perspective like he's the bad guy, and I understand, but people are crazy about him. They feel like that was their uncle.
I
that's like their dad.
The like of the character.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite. Like I feel like somebody died in real life. I felt like that.
Right.
But
he's a bad guy.
I understand. It's logical.
Yeah.
But people are not logical.
No. People are stupid. They're attached to like this idea that like because they like a character, because they identified with this character, that they're a good person.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they die, they don't think it's justified. But like Joel kills all these people in the first game. All these people. Like mass murderer, basically. Yeah. You know, I like that the game makes you feel that. It makes you feel the weight of his decision. Then he dooms the human race by saving Ellie.
I mean, he might have.
Maybe doomed the human race. Maybe.
Yeah, but you know, he's still, and that was not really his daughter. Like it's a surrogate daughter.
Yeah.
And he, you know, you've known her for like a couple months. I get it. I'll feel attached to
I think it's
person.
A great story. I love the story.
And it's like, it makes you think about it. It's not like cut and dry. That's why this first game story is immaculate. Like, it's great.
Yeah.
It makes you think, and it has a great ending. And so, where we're going?
Well, we were talking about Joel's character.
Yeah, his character.
And his death, and just like...
It impacted me, but it made sense.
It did make sense.
I didn't hate... People are hating the game just because of that.
I know. Why?
I don't know. I don't get that. I guess they never... like watched them like a show before, like a movie, or like you ever seen Game of Thrones? People die in that left and right. My favorite characters die in that left and right, and now you get mad because you don't want to play the game. Like, let them try. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I mean, that's about it. That sums up how I felt about Joel's dad.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was shocking that it happened that quick. I thought it made sense though, and I was like excited. You know, like when that happened, I was like, fuck, like where is this going now? That really put me into the game. Like that was the moment I was like, this is the game now. This is what I wanted to see.
But before that, I thought the game was so weak.
Oh, it
was.
The beginning is so slow and it's so long. You play for like an hour before literally you feel like you're doing anything.
I hate that, man.
Yeah.
Why do they do that?
That's my biggest criticism, I think, of this whole game, is that there's so many moments where it is too slow.
Filler, man.
There's too much, and I don't mind those little scenes where like you get character development. I think those are fine, and I think that they work. But you can't make them that long because you just get tired. Like there's so
much stuff you can say, interact, like interesting stuff that can interact with. Like, so let me get back to the game and the story.
I want to talk
gameplay.
I want to dive into this because I want to pick apart some moments in particular that I loathed about this. So. There's so many flashbacks in this game.
I counted it. Let me.
I think it's for every day. Each character has a flashback.
There's 11 acts.
11 acts.
45 chapters. And 50 encounters. That's not including cutscenes. There's I think there's 6 or 7 flashbacks. Extended flashbacks.
Extended. That was the thing. So the first one, I want to talk about the first couple because they.
Hold on.
No, what are you gonna say?
Did you like the museum one? Oh no.
No, I did.
Okay, all right. I love that one.
No,
that
I
was
did.
that was great.
That's I was gonna say that was
All
good.
right, all right.
I think it was a little long. It was a little long, and I was like, I don't know if all this needed to be there, but I did like that moment. I thought that that was a great moment between him and Ellie when they're in the space shuttle,
Yeah.
and that was so
That
cinematic.
that
to
was
me.
great.
That was exactly what I wanted out of like a flashback. If you're gonna do it, I did
Mhm.
think it was a little long. I think all of them were too long.
Well, yeah, all of them are a little bit too long. This whole entire game is too long.
Yeah.
But I think the museum one was perfect.
That was probably the best one.
That was definitely the best one.
I think what they should
have
have
done.
done.
No combat. I'm glad.
No combat. But I think what they should have done if they're gonna do these flashbacks is focus on the bigger thing. Like they kind of get at it. Like in the second flashback, there's 3 Ellie flashbacks. I think for every single day she's in Seattle, there's a flashback at the end where she reflects on her time with Joel. I think it was the same with Abby too.
Okay, so the first one is birthday gift when they go to the museum. That's
Mhm.
the best one. And then the finding the strings. Like, okay,
I hated that one.
Okay, I like the gameplay section of that. I like playing with.
Yeah, I just hated that story. It was pointless.
Yeah,
they went
it
all the way out there for guitar strings.
Yes, and that happens a lot in the game where they go somewhere crazy, insane, dangerous for stuff, which is like unnecessary. But for that, like for some strings, and they didn't even get it.
Yeah, I hated that.
They faced a fucking bloater, like,
and I didn't.
And they just shove it off, like, that's so frustrating.
I think it's only in there because they're like, well, we're doing a flashback for every single moment. We want the last day to reveal that she finds out, and that's what happens in the last flashback. Is Ellie eventually just confronts Joel? It's like, what the hell went on? Because she goes to the place where the Fireflies were killed, finds like some journals, and figures it out essentially, and wants Joel to tell her.
I love that moment.
That was a good moment.
Like it gets me every time.
Yeah.
So but that flashback with the finding it was unnecessary. I mean, we have like a sniper section in the game. I don't get it. Like, why do we even do this?
Yeah, because you never use the sniper rifle again.
Like, why am I doing this? To show that Tommy is a sniper, like a good sniper. Like, okay, I believe that he's a good sniper. Like, because later on you go against him, like, because he's sniping at you.
Yeah, as Abby. Yeah.
Like, why are you wasting my time with this bullshit? I'm sorry, that was bullshit.
It was. I hated that scene. I'm so glad you said that because I hated that. That was what I was gonna mention. I was like. And I was so bad at the sniper rifle, and it was taking me like 10 or 15 minutes. I'm like, just end this. I want to just skip this part. This is so annoying.
Unnecessary. I was like, I can't believe this is happening.
I hated it.
But I did like the gameplay section with those too. Like against I like
the bloater.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm glad they had the bloater in there. I wish it was just in a different part of the story, in a more necessary part of the story. Because that whole scene could have been taken out. Yeah. And you would have been fine.
Yeah, because at the end she finds the couple like, oh man, you said there's immune people. Like, that's what they told me. That's it.
Right.
She's just questioning him more. Did you need a whole entire gameplay section where we do unnecessary sniping and we're going to find some dumbass strings for the guitar, which you didn't really need because you already have a guitar and you're in that fucking apocalypse? Why are you going after risking your fucking life and almost dying from...
I mean, they kind of realized, and then, like, they did mention, it's like, I don't think we should go get the guitar strings. Like, yeah, but you should have realized it before I went to this fucking hotel, you know, like, that's overrun with the spores. Like, all the signs of, like, don't do this thing, you know?
Okay, so, look, I would be more, like, lighter, like, not as hard on it, but there's so much stuff, like, so many flashbacks. Like, the flashbacks with Owen and Abby.
Hated them.
Yeah, they missed the mark every time.
Yeah, no, they didn't establish enough for me. I guess they tried to make it so that when Owen does die, you feel a little bit more, but I didn't need that.
I did not like Owen at all.
I didn't really like him either.
He was just there.
He was an okay guy, but at the same time, he was kind of he's not weak character.
He's not like comparable to like even Tess from the first game.
Yeah,
like she's better than most of the characters on this. But I don't know. You want to go through like the characters or like more of the story, like the structure of it?
I want to continue on the structure because I still feel like it. So. I don't care for non-linear storytelling that much, and I think this is a perfect example of when it can go wrong.
It went wrong, yeah.
I don't get why they chose to do all of Ellie's story. So what happens is, alright, like in the first intro, you're Ellie, which you would expect, right?
Yeah.
And you kind of figure out where she's at, where Joel is at after the events of the first game. In this town, I think it was Jackson, right? Or was it
Jackson.
Somewhere else? Yeah, it was Jackson. Wyoming. So they're there in this little like community. You're like, okay, so they found this little town and they've kind of settled in there, and
it looks pretty. It's nice.
It is
living
nice.
there. I'm like, wow, I would like.
I want to live there.
Yeah, it seems nice. I'm just saying, like, it's not that bad.
No,
the world.
Yeah, yeah. So like you're kind of like introduced to that. It's really slow beginning. At the same time, you find out there's this person there, Abby. You don't know anything about her. You start playing as her.
Yeah.
You don't know anything about who she is or whatever. Anyway, in the course of playing Abby, you get
the scene where they're walking. Like, oh man, I wish they cut that out. But go ahead.
You mean with Owen and Abby?
Yes, man.
It was so long.
Why? Like,
yeah.
Okay, he just all he did was show him the city. But go ahead.
It was so much conversation for just, in so much length for just this tiny little thing.
And it wasn't
relevant.
Good at all. Like the writing for that part. But go ahead. I will get to the writing later.
Yeah. So the structure just bothers me because they have this intro where you introduce to both characters. Abby kills Joel, right? You find out who she is, essentially that she hates Joel. You don't know why though. You still don't know why. And that's another big thing. Like they spend so much time like they kill Joel, Abby kills Joel, and then you go as Ellie trying to figure out who she is for all this time. And I feel like that's, and she's trying to kill her, but she also is trying to figure out why she killed Joel in the first place. Why Abby killed Joel. And I'm like, the mystery is not worth it because you find out that Abby's father was the doctor that Joel shot in the first one.
And let me say, I had a feeling that it was going to be the doctor. I
did think that too.
And it wasn't like, oh, it's a big mystery. Like it's obvious.
It is.
It was somebody important.
Yeah.
It was obvious that what it was. I mean, but they made it like hours long.
They framed it as a mystery.
Like, oh, what's going on? Like, why did she kill him? Like, obvious.
Yeah,
it's somebody important. So I wasn't 100% sure it was a doctor, but it was. I mean,
it was somebody. I figured it was gonna be one of the Fireflies.
Yeah, obviously.
100%.
Go ahead.
Heat waves. Right.
Speaking of that, I fucking hate the summer.
I do. It's the worst season, right?
It's the worst.
Summer's the worst season.
Close.
It's one of the best seasons in The Last of Us 1. One of the worst seasons in real life.
Yeah, it is the worst season. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay.
What was entire life is the fucking worst season. They should cancel me. I hope they did.
CGI the glare away.
Quality at preferred dimension.
Preferred dimension. We have a crew of 100 people.
100 minus
when
2.
We can afford to pay them. Totally.
Wait, you getting paid?
No. Anyways. No one's paying.
From the ad sales, yeah. Anyways,
where the fuck were we? You're throwing me off.
All
right, so we
were about the mystery behind Abby.
Okay, so the mystery behind Abby. So magical glare had gone away. Abby's mystery did not pay off. There's no way it was obvious that she was probably, if she wasn't like, I didn't know like, okay, she's the doctor's daughter, but I figured she was gonna be tied to the Fireflies somehow.
Yeah, like
right?
You killed my parents. Like it's obvious.
Right, obvious. After the main event, right in Jackson, they go to Seattle. The story is going to Seattle.
3 days in Seattle.
Because Ellie tracks Abby to Seattle
with Dina,
with her girlfriend Dina.
Mm-hmm.
So they go there, the two of them, to find Abby essentially and kill her and everybody she knows, all her friends and family.
Basically, yes.
her entire
she's a completely different
circle.
Person from the first game.
Yeah. So, and that was another thing. I was like, damn, it's just such a. I mean, I guess Ellie's changed, and they try to flesh that character change out over the course of her arc, but I didn't believe it, honestly. I didn't feel it.
How different she is. Wow.
Yeah, I feel like in the first game she killed people, and she was following Joel, who kills everybody, right?
Yeah.
Joel's just like a... But I felt like she had a lot more heart and soul than Joel did, and they kind of just overlooked that and are like, nope, she's Joel Jr. now. She kills people, you know, and she feels nothing. Which I thought was weird. But I guess, you know what? Her father was killed.
Yeah.
So she's out for revenge. So it frames it as a revenge story at the beginning. Mm-hmm. But you spend, anyway, 3 days in Seattle as Ellie. And those days are long. Those days are really long.
Oh, man, that is... Woo!
And you're searching for, like, where Abby is. You have to kill a bunch of people to get to her, right? You finally get to, like, Owen, right? Abby's ex-boyfriend and his pregnant new girlfriend. And you kill her on accident. And you kill an unborn baby. Which was fucking great. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, well, I gotta defend Ellie because like everything, like she was attacked
She was
every
attacked.
time, so
Yeah.
it's kind of hard.
And she didn't know either.
Yeah, and she felt something happen.
She did feel something.
Yeah, and like they fucking destroyed this girl in this game.
Yeah, they really do.
And we'll talk about more about that later. But like then after that,
so after that, Abby confronts Ellie at the hideout that she's been at with her girlfriend Dina, who is also pregnant, by the way, which is also a weird addition, but whatever.
I think they did that just to have like all their mirror, like
their family afterward.
Yeah, well, like yeah, but like Abby and Ellie are like kind of like in the same situation.
Mm.
Like it's like their father was killed. They were out for revenge.
Somebody they care about is pregnant.
Yeah, it's like duality.
Yeah,
I don't know if that really adds to the story really at all. Like the pregnant people, like I think they could have done without that.
Probably.
And it didn't really add anything to me. I just felt like just more stuff to add on, more subplots. Like I said, like well, God of War is like we need more focused like stories and games. So
yeah,
it's like everywhere. But go ahead.
Yeah, no. So anyway, so you finish up that arc, and then you stop playing as Ellie, like for almost
12 for the rest of the game, almost
for basically the whole game until the finale. So
you go on a flashback of the revealing that
Abby.
was her father, the doctor, the only person that can, I guess, do surgery.
Could create a vaccine. Potentially create a vaccine out of killing Ellie. That was like the premise of the first game's ending.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so then you play the rest of the game. You spend another 3 days. All the 3 days that Ellie had played out in Seattle, you play them as well as Abby. And
I think the second half of the game is better than the first.
I do too.
Okay, all right, let's make sure.
No,
it's a lot better.
Kind of insane.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
That was weird. Okay.
Okay, I don't like this. We're supposed to argue about something. We will find something. Okay?
I hate you.
I'm not. I really thought we were gonna have different opinions of this game because everybody fucking hates this game.
I know, no, but I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. There's a lot of things I didn't love.
Okay, we'll talk about that.
Yeah, and the story I did not love. And this is a thing that this is one of the things that detracted me. But I did love Abby's arc.
I did too,
because she kills Joel.
I liked her.
Yeah, I ended up I liked her more than I liked Ellie. I think at the end.
Yes, and I think they did it on purpose.
They did.
I don't know why they just want to destroy it. Okay, I have a theory about it, but we'll talk about that later. But I really liked Abby, and it's impressive. She's the bad guy in the story, and like she killed one of our most beloved video game characters of all time, and I ended up liking her. That's an accomplishment. I think that's an accomplishment. Most people don't agree with feel the same way, but I did. Like her beginnings wasn't really that good. Like the beginning, with
they
Manny.
They didn't do a good job of fleshing her out. I don't think in their flashbacks or anything. But I liked her actual story of the real time story of what was happening when Ellie was in Seattle.
The flashbacks are just handled so badly.
They are
game, for the most part. It's just handled badly. But go ahead. You want to continue on with her
arc? I just thought was so great. She starts off as she kills Joel, right? She's kind of framed from the get-go as a murderer because that's all you know about her.
I mean, she's pretty she kind of enjoys it. Yeah,
she's cold, but I like how she changes that a little bit. She starts to care more about people. She's like, "Oh, scars are evil, scars," and it's kind of like, okay, you get exposure therapy to the type of person you no longer hate them, but. That's a typical trope, but I thought it worked really well for Abby's character, who had just come off this heat of revenge, was still kind of dealing with that psychologically, didn't know how to feel about it.
She didn't really get over it, and Ellie's going through the same thing. She's trying to get to where Abby is at, got her revenge, but Abby's still having nightmares, and she has nightmares of Lev and Yara dead, and she's still seeing her dad. So it doesn't help anything. The revenge. That's what they're trying to tell, and she's trying to relate to. Her enemy, the scars, because eventually she gets with Lev, and they kind of become the Ellie and Joel for the first game, and it's not as good as the first game, but I like how different they are, and this it's good dynamic, better than Owen and Abby. I just didn't care about those two at all. They have sex and I don't know where, and it's just and then Mel, but will you want to continue on to to the last part of the game?
Yeah, no, let's talk about it.
Okay. Well, like she confronts her like in the middle of the game, and then we go to Abby, and we get to that point all the way to the point, and then we meet again. But I loved the boss fight with Ellie. I loved it. Did you love it?
Oh, you mean like when you're stealthing as Abby?
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved that part. It was intense. It was hard, but I liked it.
Yeah.
That felt again like another moment where I was pulled in. Like, this is real.
Oh no, I also liked when it was Tommy sniping you.
Yeah.
And like I like that. Like you were that's probably basically like kind of like Joel. Like that was you. You're facing kind of against like how like you were before. Like the computer character is more like real.
Yeah.
Because you were playing as Ellie.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like Ellie was using her like Molotov cocktails, like trap bombs, and like she was hard to attack. And I like it was intense, and it was like one of my favorite parts of the game.
Yeah, I love that scene.
Like everything I like.
Yeah, I know. I wish we had more. No, but that was one of the best scenes because it was like, again, like you nailed it. Like you played as this character, you know how indestructible you feel when you play as her, and
you
then
feel like a complete badass, and then you have to face that badass
with no weapons.
Yes, that was great, and I died like a couple times. Yeah,
it was tough.
But yeah, that was awesome. But she decides not to kill her. And like you see Abby, like she 2 times she lets her go.
Yeah.
And
this bitch still has to go with. I hated the moment when Ellie was like, "So okay, I want to talk about the next part because this is important." So anyway, they confront each other in this boss fight in the theater, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Abby, like he said, lets Ellie go, right? The next scene, Ellie is like with Dina is like a year later or something, or a couple years.
I don't know. Is it a couple years?
There's a bit of a time jump.
I hope it's a years.
Dina's baby's like maybe an infant now, right? Yeah. So it was probably about a year or so
something like that,
after all this stuff goes down. And anyway, so like Tommy shows up at Ellie's new family farm and is like, yeah, Abby's still alive. Like, we know where she is. And like, I hated the decision for Ellie to go out there, and I was so glad that this game did not kill Abby at the end.
Yeah.
Can I tell you?
Yeah,
like,
me too.
I was so worried that's where they were going. I'm like, man, I would have felt like it wasted so much time because I don't even feel like there's a need to kill her anymore. No. I was like, just let it go. If this were me, I'd let it go.
Okay, so, all right. So with me, I don't absolutely hate that because, I mean, she obviously doesn't want that life with Dina. I feel like she doesn't want that.
It's not her. Yeah. No, but it's not just about staying with Dina. It's about like coming to closure. I think with killing Abby and like what kind of who do you want to be like. And I was just mad she was like, I'm gonna kill her because I was like, man, I just feel like I would have wasted time. Like for me, if I was in that scenario and I had gone through all this, which I feel like we do when you go and you play this game and you've experienced all the stuff that Ellie feels, I was like, why do you still need to kill her?
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you just let it go? Like, you've tried, you've failed, and nothing, life is better for you now. Like, she was experiencing PTSD, which also I wish they would have introduced that earlier.
Yeah. I think they should have. Like, I guess when she's like, after she kills Nora, I like the scene where, like, she's fixing her up, Dina's.
Yeah.
I think they're trying to show, like, she's really affected by this.
Yeah.
And like after she kills Mel, like she's like, didn't she like throw up or something like that, vomit?
Yeah.
And Abby does the same thing when she sees Owen. So like they're still trying to make them the same, like but I think they're trying to introduce it, but they don't do it well enough. And like out of nowhere, she's like,
she
sees
PTSD
flashes
from Joel.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense, but
yeah, it should have been introduced earlier. I think.
Yeah.
I think that would have been a better motivator for the whole story before that, than just like, oh, I'm gonna go kill Abby. Like, I get, okay, it's a revenge story, but I would have thought it a lot better if I know that she has this thing that's bothering her, this trauma that she's trying to get closure on. That's a lot more relatable, I think. A lot more sympathetic.
Yeah, I agree with that. So if it was established better, you would agree with her decision more to go back after?
I think,
like, cause
I still would have been mad.
Because that ending, like, with them just at the farm, I feel like this is not the last game.
You didn't think it was going to be over right there?
No.
I didn't
not
either.
at all.
I knew there was going to be more, yeah.
And I feel like it wouldn't have been a good ending.
No, that wouldn't have been a good ending.
Yeah.
But as a character decision, I think the whole game, should have ended before that scenario.
Yeah.
So what I think should have happened was like at the theater. That's where the climax should have been.
Yeah.
Like Abby and Ellie meet, and you're gonna do this thing, and that's when the decision is made by Ellie to not kill her. I think, but then I guess you could argue that she wouldn't have like it wouldn't have been a reciprocated forgiveness, right? Because Abby lets her go, right?
Mm-hmm.
Abby decides you killed my whole circle, and I don't want to be this way anymore. Like clearly, it's revenge plot because she kills Joel, right? That kind of I think she in her mind is like, oh, well, this is what led to all my people getting killed. Yeah. So she kind of comes to the conclusion this revenge is just gonna hurt everyone around her.
I feel like Ellie hasn't realized that yet. So
right.
I think she needs to get to that point, and she gets to that point at the end.
I think they should have, yeah. There should have been some better establishing point to get to them. I just didn't like the way they did that. I didn't like the way they had, like, kind of a climax. The climax doesn't happen. Then there's this down period, and then there's another... I hate time jumps, too. It pulls me out of, like, the narrative that they were trying to establish.
They're going everywhere, and it's, like, going back. There's a flashback within a flashback.
I hated that.
It's just too much.
It is too much.
Yeah, and the first game didn't really have that. It was
hardly at all.
Yeah, I don't remember.
There's a couple flashbacks, I think. I mean,
I see. You know better than me. I just remember like the main plot points.
I only remember one time jump specifically. Like, there's a couple time jumps in between.
The first time jump is
and the big one.
Great.
Yeah, no, that works really well. Yeah, no, that's exactly what it should be. But yeah, these time jumps in this one, like. You go like in weird time jumps to try and fit the themes that they're trying to establish, like you know, forgiveness, I guess, at the end, and but anyway,
it's like like revenge is bad, like violence is bad. I think that's people are just saying it like that, but like how it's done, I think it's like I know it's like a simple plot, but it's like the emotions and like going through it, it really involves you in it, and it made me care about it more. I know it's not that complex, but like there's like complex emotions going on, and like through the acting and somewhat the writing, like the animation. So I think it makes it more potent to me because like at the end, I felt like so miserable. Throughout this whole entire game, I felt it like, and like some games you know some stories you don't feel anything, but this one you did. But so what do you think about like the very end?
I did like I'm so glad she didn't kill Abby. I was relieved because I wanted
to put the controller down. I just like
I know
on like few times where I didn't want to finish it because I thought I was been so fucking mad.
I know because then it would have.
I would have hated
like there would have been no point this whole thing. What was the point of doing all this shit and if you're just gonna go through with the murder anyway? I don't.
But people saying that because she didn't kill her, it made it not worth it.
I thought like, people wanted,
like why would you want Ellie to like kill her?
Right.
Like just she's worse. Like she's absolutely like not redeemable after that.
Right. I feel like it wouldn't have established anything either.
Yeah, she would let her. She let her go twice.
Right.
Like she just gotta realize that it's not worth it. Like that makes sense more than her.
That's the moral of the story. Yeah. You know, and I
don't get that. Like people are just like she killed Joe. Like are you? That's simple. I'm sorry.
People are
simple minded. Like I'm not trying to like it's like not simple minded, but like just think of it just like in the base, like oh somebody killed your father. I get it. I'll be mad too, but life doesn't work that way. You can't just keep on killing. Cause I was thinking if she would have killed Abby, you know who would have like came after her? Lev.
Right.
Like you know Ellie's not gonna kill it. Like
I think that's what the game tried to establish. And I actually think that theme that's a good theme.
Yeah. I
really thought that was one of the few things about the story that I actually really, really love.
And how they told it is kind of like messy.
It is messy.
Yeah.
But it was a good theme.
Yeah.
It was a good moral. Yeah. That it would be like this endless cycle of violence.
Yeah, and it was.
It was, yeah.
It was like Joel kills the doctor, she kills Joel, and she killed she ended the cycle. And Abby ended the cycle twice. Almost once.
Yeah.
And but Ellie, she didn't realize it, I guess. Like, she's still young, you know? And, like, in that world, I feel like it's more realistic that she would want to do something like that. Because this is, like, what they do is kill. Yeah. Like, they're in it. Like, if it was, like, a regular, like, the normal world, I think it would be, like, just not believable.
That's a good point. And she grew up in that world.
Yeah, she grew up killing. Mm-hmm. So that's all she really knows. So, what do you think about the very end? Like when she,
like the when she's.
I love that. I love that she lost her fingers and like she lost her.
She lost parts.
She lost everything.
She lost everything.
I like that. I don't know why.
I do too. No, because it makes sense, and I think it helps hammer home that theme of like this revenge. This is what you get.
Yeah.
When you try to go through it, you lose things, and I think it helps like reinforce the fact that like that cycle of violence is just going to keep repeating itself, and I think that's what Ellie loses. Like she lost what Abby lost, like everything she cared about, all the people she cared about. You know, what is Ellie going to do now? Like she has no one. I guess Tommy's still technically alive, right?
Yeah. She'll be alright. I think. Okay, this is my theory. There's gonna be. I swear there's gonna be a Last of Us 3.
There is. Yeah.
Neil Druckmann, the director of it, he said there might be like if there's a story worth telling. That's what he said. But this game is like the best selling PS4 exclusive. They're gonna make another one.
They're probably gonna make a third one.
So and I hope they do. If they don't, and I feel like, then I think this game story is a failure, because I don't know. It's just like, what's the point?
It doesn't feel like it
absolutely destroys her. Like why? And like and they don't really show Abby. Like they could have made Abby like the main character, like, and like have Ellie die too. Like that would be like super freaking bold.
They would never do that.
Yeah, that would. And maybe like have Abby is like the main character now. To make it seem like make it seem like she's like the main character. But I feel like there's gonna be another game. Like she's gonna be older. She's gonna be older, Ellie, and maybe they even like come back together.
Yeah,
I would want to see that.
I would too. I would be interested because even
and like they find. I'm sorry, I just want to say this. Like, and they find like maybe the cure for it.
That's and that's another thing. Now that you mention it, that got overlooked completely.
Yeah, it's like one of the most interesting things about Ellie.
Yeah, and no one else is gonna try. I mean, like I guess they're like, oh well, all hope's gone because the doctor died, but there's gotta be another doctor.
I know, man, and somebody can learn. Like, there's books. People are not that dumb.
Right. Well, if you,
I'm not smart enough. But.
Yeah. I would just think that's got to be another. They got to explore that storyline again if they're gonna make another game, because that's almost completely overlooked in this one. Is that fact? It's used as a plot device to say this is why Joel didn't kill her, and that's really it. You know, it doesn't really establish. It doesn't have any other bigger impact on the story.
No, it doesn't.
Of this game.
And like. Yeah, she leaves the guitar there, like all her drawings, like she's a different person now. She needs to let go of the past, like he's gone.
Yeah,
there's nothing bringing him back, and like the finger thing is like I think that's good symbolism, because like throughout the game, I think they do a little bit too much with the guitar playing, but it really sends it home where you're trying to play it, like it's in the gameplay where you're trying to play it, you can't, and like she realizes like he's gone. This connection, like, it's completely gone, and she's gonna have to move on because she couldn't move on the whole time. Like, when she's like the first thing you see when you go to the farm, like the years forward with Dina, like she's looking at the watch, so she can't get over it. She's not over it. She's trying to, but there's always nagging with her. But like she goes there, she almost kills Abby, and like I don't know, like. I'm not sure why she changes her mind. Like I guess like a split second she sees Joel.
I think it made sense because I think she kind of realized. Yeah, I mean, I guess the timing of it is weird. Like she realizes she forgave Joel. Mm-hmm. She's gonna forgive Abby too.
Yeah.
But it was just weird. I didn't like that ending finale. That was after a time jump just tacked on to the end there. I didn't care for that, No. And I didn't like that they introduced this group of the Rattlers, right? And you don't even explore them at all. Why not just finish the finale with the characters or like the factions we'd already established?
Yeah, I don't get that.
The whole game. I don't.
It's just too much in this game. It's just too much. Just focus on Ellie and Abby.
Yeah.
And I guess I do like the scars. But with like the pregnancy stuff, side plots. Okay, let's talk about those characters. Okay, what characters do you like? The new characters you introduced. Like, what do you like? I love
most of them.
I like Abby. Like it really got to me when she's like her fear of heights. Like she's a badass. Like I like that.
Yeah.
But her fear of heights and like the little detail you notice. Like if you were like at a high altitude with her. You look down, it starts to shake, and she's just scared. Like I like that.
Yeah,
like it adds character, and I think I started really liking her when they're crossing the bridge.
Yeah,
like she's so terrified, and I wouldn't be terrified. I like heights, so and like it's like, oh man, like it really brings her to becoming a human. Like she's cool. Like
She is,
she's
yeah.
cool. I like her.
I think like she's framed as a villain at the beginning, but when you get put in her shoes and you understand why she killed Joel and why she was
Yeah.
angry, like
I
you
mean,
understand
I
this is a human
understand.
being.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
it's not right. Like, and none of this is right. But
yeah,
in that world, what is right and wrong anymore? Like,
right. And I think it's just so hard in this game to frame somebody as a villain. For most of the characters, if any of them,
mhm.
like they're all just people trying to survive. I think that's one of the best things about this game is it's so morally ambiguous that sometimes you got to realize that I think it's easier for us to cope with like killing somebody or or watching a person die in any scenario,
Mhm.
in any piece of media or whatever, if that person's dehumanized. If that person's humanized and they have a character that's like you are familiar with them, you empathize with them, it's a lot harder to demonize that person. I think that's what this game does a great job of doing. The first one did too,
Mhm.
you know. And but I think both games they do that, and they put you in a scenario where like if you're a human, you would make human mistakes. You would maybe do what Joel did. You would maybe do what Abby or Ellie did.
Like I said, I probably would have done it.
Yeah.
If it was like, I don't know. Yeah. If I felt like what happened to him with his daughter, and then you get, you know, with Ellie, and that she's gonna die. What else does he have to live for? Like
That's a
he
good
had a
point.
second chance with his daughter,
That's why I think the first one's
and
such a
it's
great
kind of like
story.
messed up, huh? Yeah, it's kind of messed up. Like that's not really your daughter. You're doing a job, but he's a human. Like that's fucked up, but that's just how it is, and I understand. But he paid for it, and I like that they made him pay for it. If I would not like this game, I don't think like the story as much. If they would just let him like get away with that.
I mean, it sets the tone. It sets the theme of like how revenge and how violence leads to consequences.
Yeah.
That's what this whole game's about. Is like the all these killings, they're not without consequence. I guess if you want to take any major theme, I think that's probably the biggest one. Is that there's a consequence for every action you make.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big consequences, like especially in this. But so what about what the other characters?
So I mean, most of the side characters, like you said, I didn't really care for like Owen or I think Dina was cute addition. I think
I
they're.
mean, but Dina, the nose.
He's a thing for girls with big noses. He's weird.
It's like
She was cute. No, she was cute.
Hey,
And I
man,
thought,
and yeah, she was cool, but I like Jesse as well. He was cool,
yeah, I think,
but he didn't have like a screen time because he
yeah,
got shot in the face.
yeah,
And but the wolves, most of the wolves,
yeah, they were kind of.
Manny is like, well, oh, I wish I was watching anime. Like, shut the fuck up. Like, stop it, pandering it. And like he's like, ladies man, like it's I don't know. He fell
Yeah.
flat for me. Like Owen's like whatever. He's
Yeah,
and
they were
Mel
kind
is
of
like,
tropey.
why is she out there and pregnant? I don't know.
Yeah, that pissed me off
Like,
too.
I hated her after that.
Yeah, like it's not even at that point. Like, oh, I'm a badass woman. Like, you're pregnant with a child. Do you want the child to get murdered? Like,
Yeah, I'm sure you have a whole bunch of other people there.
Yeah, it's just a stupid decision that she goes out and like would risk getting shot or stabbed or anything, like or hurt. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense. You can help out in other ways if you want to be helpful when you're like pregnant. If I was pregnant, that's what I would do. Like, I don't know.
And like the thing is with like I'm so hard on the characters because in the first one we go back to the first one because it's so great. Like Tess, like she's in the game for like an hour maybe.
Yeah.
And like she left an impact on me. She was great. Joel's daughter, like the dialogue, like we'll talk about the writing. I think because it's like the writing has taken a step back, but like the first scene with them is like one of the most memorable scenes. And also his friend, the crazy guy in the first one, I forgot his name. He's like he sets the traps out.
Oh yeah.
Ah,
I can't remember his name either.
But
I know
like
what you're talking about. Yeah.
he was so funny.
Yeah.
And, like you find out he's like through the notes. Like he's he was gay. Like he had a lover and it was so subtle and like it was done so well and he's memorable. Like Ellie and him like was fighting bickering and like it lets some levity to the story a little bit.
Yeah.
It's great banter.
Yeah.
And then you have later on the cannibals. Yeah, and like they were creepy. So like and you have the two the son Oh, that was his brother and
Yeah,
older
yeah.
brother. Like that was memorable too. Like every section.
I mean, I love that scene because it was so emotional, but I just hated having to watch him shoot his brother and
Oh
stuff.
yeah,
It was
but it
like,
was memorable
it
and it made
was.
sense in the
Yeah,
story.
it did. Yeah,
And it leaves an impact. Like and but it's like the in this one it's just like stupid drama.
it was like a love triangle and kind of like
And
okay,
there's two
like,
love triangles basically.
yeah,
And like I guess that was the thing they're doing. Like they're going through the same thing. They're married.
parallels. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I didn't even
it
think
felt
about that. Like
yeah.
you mentioned that, and now I can't stop thinking about it every time.
Everything like
It's
they
mirrored.
go through the same thing.
Yeah. Wow. I didn't
Yeah.
even pick up on that.
Yeah. This and it kind of is like whoa. It doesn't. It kind of falls flat for me, and I feel like that's like one of the weakest points. And also, the general like banter in the game is like much weaker. Like the writing, I feel like the writing has taken a huge step back. Do you feel like that way?
Yeah. I mean, I just played the first one back in like, probably like October last year.
Yeah, I haven't played it in years, so
Like I bought it for like $15, the remastered one for PS4. And I thought it was pretty good. I think it's honestly mostly the same. I think there's just so many scenes where the it had to be carried by the banter. Where like it really couldn't in this one. Like in the first one, it wasn't as long. The breaks in between actions. So like in this one, in The Last of Us 2, there's so many more moments where like you're just in between moments and like you're bantering with Dina and Ellie on the back of the horse.
And I think it's that most of that was so weak to me.
Yeah,
I don't remember like I just remember Ellie's and Joel's chemistry being so much better.
Yeah, it was because you know he was hard. Like he was like, I don't like anything. I don't like anyone. You know, and then and Ellie's like this, you know, innocent.
Oh yeah, Ellie's kind of like an angsty,
yeah,
super angsty teen in this.
Yeah,
and it's kind of like, I missed the old Ellie, but I guess it makes sense, kind of.
Yeah,
but he didn't die yet, and like in the beginning, she was acting the same. But go ahead, I don't know what were you about to say?
No, I mean that's really I think again like those scenes were shorter in the first one where like you were in between stuff and you know nowadays there was one thing I did like a little feature where like they would kind of if they saw something that they had to talk about they wouldn't talk over like that was a big criticism of the first one where like you get suspended belief because they'd be talking about something where like or they would stop talking about something because you know like a cinematic was happening or something like that.
Oh really? I
don't
remember that.
I mean like what am I trying to think of? It's hard to describe.
It's like a scripted like the next thing like that moves forward the plot.
It would cut off.
Yeah.
I
got you. Yeah, then that doesn't happen in this one. Yeah.
No, it doesn't because you know what they'll be like. They kind of do what God of War did. Like, well, we'll cover it later or whatever. Or if like somebody needs to talk about something, they would kind of like trail off, and you could hit triangle to talk to them, like on the other side of the room.
Yeah.
In this one.
Okay.
Yeah.
But for me, I think I don't know, man. Maybe I have to go back because most of it, like just when they're just in the gameplay, just talking to each other, it just falls flat most of the time for me. The only time it wasn't really was when it was with Ellie and Joel. I've just mixed their names together.
Yeah, I think there definitely was.
I don't know. It just felt so like the beginning with Ellie and Dina. Like I was listening to it at work. I was like, oh, this is so boring. Like, did I really listen to this? And I felt like that throughout most of the game.
Yeah, no, there's a lot. I think there's a lot of moments where I'm just like, I kept waiting for something interesting to happen. I think like the biggest thing we feel it more. I think we feel it more in this one because again, there's those huge gaps in between like action.
Mm-hmm.
So
there's not a lot of set pieces.
Yeah, so I think that was the biggest problem is that there's a lot of time, a lot of downtime that relies upon that banter. So I think it seems weaker because it's longer. But you have a point. I guess I didn't even really think about it to be honest. I was more thinking about the larger picture as I was playing this game. And I probably would notice it more if I played it again. But
well, with me, I don't like you're more big picture. I'm like moments to me. I think I'm
nuanced. Yeah.
Like moments, little details, like that hits me more than the overall story. Like the overall story can be weak as long as like I like the characters and like little scenes, like gameplay sections and like that. That's what I remember more of. Yeah, so that's more important to me, and I think that's like one of the biggest criticisms for me. Like the writing, I think it takes a step back, and like just terms of like the banter, and like the characters are not as memorable. and
Yeah,
there's
I
too
think
many. I think
there is too many characters, and I think a lot of them kind of they fall off flat. Like I like Lev, I like the introduction of Lev
oh yeah,
with
I like those.
Abby, the dynamic there. But like her whole circle, her whole posse before that, the wolves are pretty weak and forgettable.
And like they died in Ellie's story, and like they show up throughout Abby's story, and like they're trying to make you care about them, and like I already know you're gonna die, so I don't just
Yeah,
get off my screen.
that's another thing too. Yeah, like telling them they're gonna die. I think like it sets this precedent where you really have to start figuring out why you're gonna care about it. Because
Yeah.
you don't care about it when Ellie kills them. Really, like, oh, whatever. That was.
Yeah.
I mean, she was a pregnant lady. You felt that, but that was really the only thing. Like Owen and Mel, and then the other chick Nora. You still don't. Even like with Abby's story, I felt like I didn't care about Nora dying because I didn't know anything about her. I didn't know anything about
Just
who she
another
was.
obstacle.
Yeah, and she seemed kind of like she was hard anyway. She was like the kind of person who would have like been like I guess like Ellie, like kind of like a morally ambiguous character if anything. So I don't know.
And what's the Isaac? Like he had
Oh
low
god,
screen
what a
time.
wasted! I thought he was gonna be bigger.
Yeah, I thought he did good for like the 2 scenes he's in.
He's voiced by the guy from Westworld,
That's what I heard.
Jeffrey Wright.
Yeah,
I recognize his voice as a different character model, but I was like, oh wow, he's got a great voice.
I hate when they use real actors. I hate when they do that, and not like their faces in video games, because I want them to create their own. So I like that
Yeah.
they do that. I don't like it when they do
Still kind of base some of the features. I think
I know, but it's like original. Though.
Yeah, it is original.
Like
That's
why
cool.
make your own original? You can do it.
Yeah.
It won't be associated with anything else. But yeah, like there's so much. This is blow. Like the biggest criticism is just too much
Of everything.
of everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, if they shorten this down, like skim the fat a lot, this would have been a way better game to me.
What I want to get into, because I think it's kind of what made these long breaks with story and the problems with story it felt more worth it, was when you got into actual gameplay. And when you got into the moment. I will say though, I felt like I didn't really feel like I was playing this game until probably about an hour and a half into it.
You really wasn't. And it starts with like him talking about what happened in the last game.
Yeah.
Like that's like as soon as I seen that, I'm like, stop it.
Yeah.
I don't need. Just start with you guys talking to each other. Like go ahead. Like you were saying.
Yeah. Like I don't remember the first time you actually have a gun.
Yeah.
I don't remember when that moment was, but I think it was before Joel dies. You're like surrounded by some infected, and I think you're probably Ellie. But honestly, I don't know.
No, you're Abby, I think. Oh, the first time you have a gun?
Yeah.
I think you're Abby.
Maybe
you're Abby. The first gameplay is real gameplay. Not really, actually, is Abby, because you're trying to run away from the effect.
Oh yeah.
In
that was a good scene.
Yeah, that was a good scene.
Yeah.
And like they show up and like they save him. Like, oh shit. Because
Yeah.
I already knew what was going on. I don't know why people are surprised by that.
Yeah.
But you want to go talk about like the gameplay, because the gameplay makes this game to me.
I would agree.
The gameplay is fucking great.
I would agree in this case. I think the story and the gameplay in the first one were both probably equally amazing, but in this one, the gameplay saves it.
Yeah. It saves this game, because
Yeah.
if it was like kind of like the same, it would have been lower for me.
Yeah.
But what like one of the main things is you can now prone, like you can fall on the ground.
I was gonna mention that. Yeah.
I love that. And when I seen it, I'm like, yes, because I didn't watch any gameplay trailers, and I wanted to be surprised. And like the gameplay, it feels so fucking real and visceral. And I don't remember. I remember that a little bit in the first one, but this feels like I'm Ellie or Abby, and I'm fucking people up, and it feels so fucking good. And I love stealth, so I'm gonna like the game more because I like sneaking around, like killing people in games, maybe. But it feels so good, and it doesn't. It's not. How can I say this? It just feels all fluid. Like everything flows so well, and the animations are flawless. Like it feels like you're in it. And like, what do you have to say about it?
Yeah, no, I mean, like I feel like the same way. Like you do feel real. I like the stakes in this one. I feel like it's a lot easier to get seen. There was sometimes I'll admit I was frustrated where I was like, I don't know how I'm getting seen. Like I'm doing everything in my power to not get seen by a guy. So there was some times where I was like, when I was in stealth, it was like I should be hidden, or I think I'm hidden, which I guess adds some more of the realism of it. It's harder to hide from
Mhm.
like a group of people circling around.
But I think the AI is really the AI when the first one was good, but they flank you.
Yeah.
They you cannot just
Yeah.
stay in one place, and I think it's done really
Oh
well.
yeah. Yeah.
They're
It
very
feels
smart.
real.
They're
And you
very
know
smart.
what? They improved upon something I thought was great in the first one. You can kind of choose your own approach to everything, right?
Oh yeah,
In this game,
you
you
don't have to
can.
kill anybody. I don't think.
Well, I
Or
mean, you probably would
most
have to.
people.
This game, I think you'd have to kill some people. I
Yeah.
could not imagine you playing. I would love to see like somebody go through it trying to not kill anybody.
Oh, there was one section where there's a lot of times in this game where I didn't want to like fight anybody. Like I would
Yeah.
groan and like, oh. So there's one section when you're going back for Lev, like she has a dream. I skipped the whole entire section. I sneak past people. So I think you can some parts of the game. Not
Oh
all.
yeah, some parts probably,
Yeah.
but I remember just feeling because there was parts I did that in the first one when I played it on hard. I was like,
Oh,
I
you
don't
can?
have ammo. Yeah, you can do that in the
Oh,
first one
okay,
too.
all right. I see. Look, you probably more. Wait, no, way more because I've only played it once.
No, that's was one of the things I really loved about the first Last of Us is that you can go
Your
around.
choice.
You had and you could choose who you wanted to kill based on the supplies that you had, and the supplies were limited when you play on hard. You know.
Oh man, it's so. I played on hard and it's so limited. You don't
Yeah.
have shit.
I was thinking about there were so many moments where I was like, dude, I could not have done this part if I did not have ammo. Like I would have been literally fucked. One part in particular, which I also really want to talk about this scene because I
Okay.
loved it, was the giant blob. Did you like the
I
blob?
loved the whole
I
entire
love
sequence.
that thing.
It felt like I love Resident Evil and it felt like a Resident Evil monster.
I knew you were gonna say
Yeah,
that.
it felt like it, like the whole entire scene, like because there's locked doors, and it's like more like because like that was the ground zero because so they've been like in there like molding together. It was sick.
It's probably the best infected they ever had.
Yeah.
It's like this. It's like a bloater, but it's bigger than
It's
a bloater.
amalgamation
They're
of like a
all
whole
like
bunch of.
bunch of infected stuck together.
It's called Rat King. That's what the
Is
name
that what it was called?
Yeah.
I was gonna wonder what it was called. Yeah, I figured you.
It's
know.
just a whole bunch of affected like, oh, it's like all together, and
It was
one of them
great.
comes apart.
Yeah, one of them falls off and chases you.
That's so cool. Like,
I love that scene.
That was great. I'm glad you liked that because I loved that. It was one of my favorite sections.
It's probably my favorite scene that whole game. There's a couple of really like moments I really like, but in terms of like action moments, I thought that was a great boss fight.
It was
that pulled me. It didn't pull me away from like the story or anything, but it was like that was the thrill. I was getting chased. I was scared. Like the thing was scary.
I wish there were more. I like the
Yeah.
descent down the hotel when you're with Lev and Abby, and like you're going through it, and it was a lot of good like combat sections.
Was, yeah.
Like sometimes I don't know. It's like sometimes I really like fighting the humans, and sometimes I like fighting the infected. I like at first I just liked fighting the humans because like it was just like clickers and runners. And like they were like more simple, but they started adding more character types. Like they're called the Shamblers.
Shamblers.
Yeah, those are fucking disgusting and they're terrifying.
They're
like,
terrifying.
I hate those the most. Like that was the most
Stalkers.
Terrifying. The stalkers, yeah.
Oh.
Okay, so yeah, stalkers. They have like a brain, I guess. Like they
sneak up
creepy,
on
yes.
you. They stealth you.
Yes, in that section, like when they're first introduced, I loved it.
Yeah.
Because you're being hunted by like the infected, and I wasn't expecting that.
I love how you had to figure out, too, how to fight them, and like for me, like with the stalkers, because they kept sneaking up on me. I was like, well, I'm actually better off if I'm up against a wall, because then they can't like get me. Like the thing is, sometimes there's like a little crack in the wall you could crawl through, or you could like
Oh yeah, I love
through.
the little like
And
just different ways
too.
you can go. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I feel like it adds more replay value to it. Because you can go, you're not gonna have the same experience.
You won't. Yeah.
You can go like balls to the wall, like kill everybody, if you could play like at lower settings. But you have to do a lot of more exploration. Like they reward you for it too. Like you want to talk about the exploration? Like
I was gonna say I didn't feel like all of it was actually super rewarding. Are we actually gonna disagree on something here?
Well, no, I don't think it's all rewarding. Like eventually, I got tired of it.
Yeah.
But like a lot of like sometimes, actually. There was this one where there was a garbage a dumpster in front.
I know.
I like that part. But now I'm thinking about it.
I think
the notes in this game. I stopped reading them because I couldn't do it anymore, man.
Oh, I hardly read any of them.
Yeah, and I love that in games when they tell little side stories of what's going on. I love that. They do that in Resident Evil. They did it in Bioshock, and I just couldn't do it anymore.
There were so many in this one.
Yes.
There were so many about characters that it's not like you were talking about in the first one, where's that guy you find out he's gay by reading the notes that they had. You don't really learn about a lot about any of the characters because all the people that leave notes in this one are dead.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're just dead people. Like you kind of like, wow, that's an intense moment, but
and it's like, I don't know, it just didn't leave an impact on me like I thought. I was excited for like little side stories, like what happened, like shit like messed up happened, but yeah, that's like one like the exploration. I know I just like doing. I like looking around and stuff like a video game. So and like open all the drawers, and so you didn't really like that as much.
I just didn't feel like it was super rewarding in this one.
Yeah, actually, now I think about it, eventually I got tired of it.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like there was moments where it was good, but I think just overall I was like I liked getting the gun silencer, which I thought was a big awesome addition to like your weaponry. You know, like that was awesome. And I thought like being able to like stealth bullet somebody was awesome.
Yeah,
but for the most part, like those side quests, I didn't think they were super rewarding. There was one on the boat where like I did the where you get the crossbow, right? And I guess there's a safe in that top deck of the boat or whatever. I did that one, and I was like, just some more ammo. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I guess if I was doing this on hard though, and I had less ammo, I would have had to probably do those. I wouldn't have had a choice.
Yeah, I had to.
Yeah.
That's why I think I enjoyed it a little bit more because I looked through every little nook and cranny because I was no ammo at all. Like I had like most of 6 in most of my.
How did you kill the blob thing, the Rat King? How did you kill him then? Because you know what, I looked at that scene. I was like, if I did this on hard, I'd have no ammo left. Like I would thought at first I was crazy, and
they give you usually in games they usually give you ammo in that boss area.
There was ammo in the room.
Yeah, so they usually give you that. But like before that, no, they don't give you anything.
Right, and there was like I was running low on supplies after that too. I had like nothing left.
And let me tell you, you gotta sneak past people, and the most of what I did is stealth kill people. Like,
well, you have to, and
yeah,
hard,
you have
to.
I
figured. I mean, like that's how it was in the first.
You got to have
one,
patience.
So.
I have a lot of patience.
Yeah,
because I'm used to doing stuff like that. So eventually, I didn't have any bows, like no silencers, and like it was tough. Like I died multiple, like at least 100 times.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, and well, what do you think about the upgrades? Like, I like the upgrade system, but it's like nothing special. But I like how like they go on the table. And it's kind of like detailed, like they actually do stuff.
That. I love that.
That was cool.
It's a little subtle thing, but I really love that you would actually, like when they upgrade a weapon, like or make it like more stable, they would actually like add and take parts off of like a gun and stuff. I thought that was so cool.
That was cool.
Yeah.
And that one moment, did you get to that one like side little story where, like, just people that ran away from the wolves? I like it.
What you mean, like a note or something, like a?
Well, Ellie goes into like a workbench. And when you go, like, you're relaxed, like it's like a save room, and like somebody attacks you when you're on the workbench. You never got to that.
No, I don't think so. But it's funny you mentioned that. There was one scene towards like in the finale scene. Remember the part where you're like cutting? You could cut off the chain, and you could let like a clicker go. I like that little part.
Yeah,
too.
That was cool too.
That was a cool feature. But there's a scene in that compound where like there was a workbench there. I forgot to kill one of the guys. He was still walking around. I was working and I got done and he was like still walking around. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, like kind of glitched out.
Yeah.
Did you have any glitches?
Yes. Yeah. I had one. There was one part where I was Ellie and I fell through the concrete.
Really?
And had to like restart.
I didn't have any.
It was only one. It was I
like
phased through the wall and I was like stuck. I was like, man, can I get out of here? So I mean, like luckily it was just like a thing where I restarted that checkpoint and I was like right back where I was. So.
Oh, I gotta mention. I'm sorry, we're getting off the track. I think. Well, I guess it's related. The loading is so fast.
Oh, it's amazing for what it's loading.
I can't believe it. I was so surprised.
You wait like maybe a minute and a half, and then the whole game's just
that's all you gotta wait. Yeah,
it's insane.
You die like a couple seconds, boom, you're back into it.
Yeah,
and that's cool. Like that happens usually with like lower fidelity games where it's not like good graphics as much, but this game is impressive graphically and it loads super fast.
Load time is insane.
I can't believe it.
Fast.
And I like Horizon came out like a couple years ago. That game is beautiful, but like the loading is it takes so long, and it's like it's like, oh, I got that again. I gotta wait for this load screen. It just adds more time. I got time for that, but like that's like one of the most impressive things. The loading times.
I love that. Yeah, this game's it like when you're starting up the game, it's like a minute and a half, which is not that bad.
No, I expect that because what they have to
for
load
what
in.
it is, and then once you're in it, like
and there's no loading screens. I don't think.
No, after that.
Yeah, only when you die. So it's like
there's like a brief little like tip screen. It's
like
on there for like, and it's on there for what, like maybe 5 seconds max before you're back in, and then you just.
Like, I'm not even ready. Like, hold on. Like, I'm used to loading screens. Let me breathe. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do.
Yeah,
but that was impressive.
It was really impressive.
I was trying to think of, like, I wanted to mention that because that was cool.
Yeah. I want to see if there's anything else I really want to hit. Most of it we already... Oh, I want to talk about this. For sure. The boat. What did you think about driving the boat?
Oh, man.
You did not like it either. I hated it.
Okay, let me tell you.
Well, I just didn't feel like it was necessary.
Let me tell you about this bullshit open world shit in my fucking Last of Us game. The first day with Ellie, you're with Dina, and you ride around on horseback, going around like it's an open world game. No, I want a linear game.
Weird.
Stop it. They started doing better later in the game, where like there was like. Maybe like another section that wasn't that important, but like they had enemies and like maybe ammo and like maybe like one of those manuals, like the upgrades. I like how you can find. You might find it, you might not, but like that's how they kind of rewarded you for exploration because you didn't get all the supplies and like weapons unless you looked around.
Yeah.
So I like that, but those 2 seconds with Ellie when you're in the fucking boat, I hated that.
I hated the boat too.
I hate
driving it. I hate it. I feel like they were just like, we need to find a way to put the boat in this game.
Yes.
Because, it doesn't make any sense practically. Because they were like, oh, well, this is the only way she can get to Abby in the aquarium. But you're Abby like 3 times going to the aquarium on land.
Yes.
Like, you don't need to have a boat to get there. I guess Ellie doesn't know that, but they didn't need to put the boat in this game. And you have to drive the boat for so long. It's weird too. It's only like one part, and they never go back to the boat.
I think they're just trying to make more gameplay, different gameplay. Like, oh, we can, open world. This is open world. This is a flashback. This is a boat section. Like, fuck you. I don't want to drive a boat. I want to kill more people. That's what you focused on. Focus on that, and just have a little bit less next time. Maybe
I don't mind the break from like the normalcy, right? Like I like the guitar parts. I like those. I thought
that's done way better to me.
It is. Yeah, the boat was just. It reminded me of the fucking Batmobile.
Oh.
That's what it reminded me of.
Wow.
This is the only thing I could think of the whole time I was playing the boat. I was like, this is the Batmobile all over again.
But that's like one section. The Batmobile.
Batmobile's like the whole fucking game. I hated the Batmobile. Yeah, like thank God the boat was only like a little thing, but it reminded me of that. Like I was just as dissatisfied. I think.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
It just felt so unnecessary.
That was the worst. That was the worst section to me.
Yeah.
That and the first part in Seattle, because
that was so long, man.
Yeah, man.
And you're just throwing cables over fences for so long.
Yeah, I like. Okay, there was one section with the cable. Like I like trying to figure out how to get to this one section. It was like a side thing where you had to figure it out.
Yeah, I don't mind the cables.
Yeah, I like that.
I don't mind puzzles and stuff, but.
I think the puzzles in the game were kind of better than it was a lot less.
Yeah.
But like there was not like a lot of ladder moving and like that. That's like one of the weaker points of the game. But that was, I mean, the first one. But that was whatever. But there was this one puzzle where you had to it was like a physics base where you had to throw the dumpster like momentum and like open it. Yeah, I like that kind of stuff.
That was one where I was like, man, I had to figure it out on my own.
Yeah.
It didn't give you. I mean, I guess you could do an L3 hint at least on. I never did those. No, I was like refusing to do any of those. But yeah, I'd like to figure that. I know what you're talking about. I had figured that out as well, and it was satisfying for me. I'm like, I'm not.
And it makes sense.
That's stupid.
Yeah, I like physics based like puzzles.
Yeah.
Like it makes sense.
Yeah.
Like the momentum of it, and you kind of have to think about it, and I like that. I mean, what else could it be? I mean, what else is there to talk about?
That was really, I think I hit all the points in terms of gameplay I wanted to hit.
The section, like Abby's, okay, let's saying like Abby's part is way better than Ellie's to me.
Her whole arc, her whole, yeah, I think everything.
The gameplay sections,
story. Yeah, that too.
like escaping the island, Scars Island. I think that was fucking intense. Yeah. It was great.
When she's getting hanged, you mean the first time?
Or
the second time?
The second time.
Both times were pretty cool.
The first time I kept on getting killed, and I was getting pissed off because I didn't have any weapons.
Yeah, you're no, you don't have weapons because she gets her backpack stolen.
Yeah,
yeah.
The first time I liked that though. Now I like when
Oh, what about dodging? Did you like the dodging?
Oh yeah, the dodging.
I think about because this part actually you had to do it a lot because you had to melee everybody.
See the dodging, I don't know how it worked. It felt like you can just dodge everything, but sometimes it didn't. It wasn't clear to me when to dodge. Cause
maybe it's because you were playing on hard. It was a little bit harder.
I think it was harder.
Yeah, because on normal it was pretty simple. If you would dodge an attack, you had like an open window sometimes to punch somebody, and then like I guess the more boss type characters like the chick with the hammer, right?
Yeah.
Like
I didn't really like those.
You would. I mean, I didn't really like it as much either because it was kind of predictable pattern. It'd be like, oh, they're gonna do one swing, then they're gonna do two swings, then they're gonna do three swings.
Yeah, you know? It's like, yeah. Well, once again, they have to add another gameplay element.
Yeah.
But I did like the fight with the one guy that was at Scars, the big black guy where you like fuck up his jaw. That was intense. Like that was cool. Yeah. But like with like the other melee sections, it's like whatever.
Yeah, I think the dodging was cool in game. So like a lot of times,
in game it was better.
Like not in like the more cinematic parts of it, but when you're actually like in a moment where you had to melee like just anybody, you know, like that was interesting because it added another element of like of actual movement in the melee. I thought that really worked really well.
I like the part when you're on the whole almost the whole entire island section. I loved it. Yeah. Because like they're fighting. And you're just trying to go around them. I love that part.
You're in the crossfire of two factions fighting, but they also want to kill you.
That was awesome. Yeah. And like in the cornfields, like I was hiding in the cornfields. Yeah. Like I really enjoyed that gameplay section. That was, and like escaping and like seeing people, like how crazy they're killing each other. Like everything's burning down. It was insane.
Wish that was the end, or like that area, I guess, was the stage for the final confrontation. Because that part I thought
like Ellie shows up, you think?
Yeah, like I mean, they would have had to restructure the story, but I just thought that area was so interesting to me.
Like after that, man, it's like, how do you get up from that?
Yeah, because that was a really cool part. That was a really intense scene, and I love cults. I love like creepy cults. Like,
yeah, I do too.
Have you ever seen Midsommar?
No, I haven't seen it.
It's a great movie, but like you should. I think you'd love it too. It's the same director as Hereditary. But anyway, I only bring it up because it's about a cult. Yeah, you'd like it. And I love like creepy cults, especially like apocalyptic cults and suicide cults. And they inferred that this is a suicide cult too. Like Abby said that, so I really wished it would.
I missed that.
It was like I think she said something about it, like they jump off buildings or something. Like
really.
I don't know. Yeah, it was like kind of a throwaway reference.
See, I wanted to know more about it.
I did too, and I feel like that's something like the lore of it was sort of backtracked in this game. I wish they would have made that more the main conflict. Like I love cults. I think they're so creepy and interesting. And I really wish they would have explored that a little bit more.
I also like later like Abby's like shitting on them the whole time, like they're crazy, and like Owen's kind of like, oh yeah, I mean, don't call them crazy, you just don't know. But like Lev eventually she's like, did you even read like her teachings? And like they didn't become like a crazy cult until like after she died. Yeah. The martyr, the prophet. So like, and she's like no, I never read it. So like she's judging the people beforehand because she's they're on the opposite side. So that was cool. I think that was a good way to humanize them.
Yeah.
But I think they needed more because it was interesting to me.
Right.
But there's just too much going on in the game. Way too much.
Yeah.
But like with the whole Lev thing, like it's like it wasn't. I don't think it was handled that well because it's like I get what they're trying to do, but it's like it's just added more to it. I guess they just needed a reason why he wanted to leave the cult. I feel like if it's not part of like important to the story, I feel like it should be left out.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying is I think they tried to make it relevant, but they kind of didn't really because they just kind of abandoned it. They're like, okay, she's a he, and he wants to be a boy, and that was like the reason I guess for him leaving the cult. But at the same time, like they kind of just after that, it doesn't really serve Lev any purpose. Maybe it will more so, as
Maybe in the sequel.
maybe.
That's what I'm hoping. That's what I'm
Yeah,
hoping.
yeah.
And I hope there's a sequel. I think it will make this worth it. If it isn't, I think it should be like seen as like a failure for the most part in
That's
terms
such
of
a
the story.
harsh word for some. I don't know if I would see like. Here's where we're disagreeing.
Okay.
I don't know if I call it a failure if they don't make.
It doesn't
a
feel
one,
complete to me.
but I do feel that way.
And what was the point of it if it doesn't feel? It doesn't feel complete to me. I feel like there should be another story.
I do too.
Like because they did Ellie so wrong and like why? Like I get she's like she's in the worst position possible. Like I don't do we really need that in life right now or any time like some redemption, you know. There's no I feel like there's no point to it.
It's a dark game, but you know what?
Like it's nihilistic, and I look if anybody likes nihilism, I would like it, you know. But I just feel like there's no purpose to it.
That
Why?
is a valid argument, I think. And I do think that, yeah, no, I also agree that there should be a third one. I think like this, like you said, it doesn't feel complete. It doesn't feel like this was the ending for this whole story that we've been following this whole time. So I agree with you there.
You don't think it'd be a failure though if it wasn't in
I
terms of the story?
Failure. I mean,
no, okay, failure is a strong word. It won't be as strong as the story.
No, that makes sense. I think what you're saying makes sense. Okay. But
I'm sorry, failure. Yeah, that was a strong. I don't think this game is a failure.
No,
because I enjoyed it.
It was good.
Yeah.
No, and I think a lot of what was working with the story, even like I wouldn't call it a failure if I'd call it a failure for me for other reasons, but not just because it was like this would be the last one. I mean, like they were just trying to make a sequel continuing this story that was already interesting, right? So like I wouldn't call it a failure of a story. I'd say like it just never got to the place that maybe we wanted. I don't know.
Look, I like how it ended, but
I did too.
I think they set it up for a sequel.
I think they did too. I really feel like I felt that way about the first one. Yeah. I felt that way about like they didn't just put this dilemma here to leave it there and never make a second one. I always thought, oh man, they're leaving this open so we can find out how this is going to affect Ellie in The Last of Us 2.
Yeah, because we spent so much time with Abby. I want to know what happens, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, it wasn't just like Ellie's story, it was both of them.
And I think, if they make a sequel, absolutely Abby's going to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, see, look. Okay, I'm backtracking with the failure thing. Definitely. I don't know. I guess it was a story they wanted to tell where, like, if revenge is, like, it's not worth it, you'll lose everything. But, like, is that it? Is that it?
No, I agree. There probably needs to be more. I think that, yeah, they leave it so that I think it doesn't, you're right, it doesn't feel complete.
It doesn't feel like a conclusion. It feels like just the next chapter in her life.
Yeah, that's true.
And maybe that's what they wanted to do.
I think it is.
But damn, wow. They destroyed Ellie, man. You know, like I heard, she said in the first one, her biggest fear is to be alone. And she's alone now. I don't see a lot of, like, stories end like that.
No, because it's dark.
Because I think really dark.
Because a lot of stories like to end on a upswing. So like even if like okay, like let's say you're making like in this case, I feel like it would probably be a trilogy the way they're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
But right, it would be like this is like the fall from grace. That happens a lot in stories. There's kind of like a rise, fall. Although there isn't much of a rise in The Last of Us 1 because the ending is that's dark as hell too.
Yeah, but I feel like there was. I don't know, it was like a more hope, I guess.
There was a little more hope than this one. I feel like this one's a lot more like
it felt like something, it was a conclusion. Yeah. Like, I feel like it could have ended there. But here, I feel like it can't.
Yeah. No, I
feel like she needs to, I don't know, because like, I feel like she's just getting started with her life. I guess maybe like they just wanted like, oh, like, maybe hopefully she'll get better. Hopefully. It's just up to you, like, to think. But I feel like they should. I want them to explore it.
I feel like they owe the audience,
Like you kill Joel, and you destroy it. Like, but like in me, I usually don't like sequels. I don't really need sequels to stories, but I feel like this one needs it for me to really
I 100%
appreciate
agree.
it. Okay.
Yeah.
Fuck you then.
I just didn't agree with the word failure, but I
Okay.
do. No, it does need to have. It doesn't feel like it's over. I guess is the best way to say it. It feels like there's more to tell because I feel like we just developed a character and we need to find out what that development does to her.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's really valid.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Is there anything else gameplay wise you want to talk about? Gameplay wise.
No.
Let's talk about how.
I didn't like how we had to reset. With Abby, like we had to find a whole bunch of new upgrades.
Oh yeah.
I was like, oh no, just this game just needed to be shorter, and it felt like two different games some of that most of the time.
You know, I was watching one review by this other guy who I watched a lot of stuff he does, and
who is it?
Cosmonaut Variety Hour.
Oh, okay, I know him.
Yeah, I like him. He's fun. He does like great reviews of like Star Wars movies and stuff. But
he told me on Twitter if I wear basketball shorts and a shirt, I'm not even joking. He responded to me that you shouldn't be wearing that. I was like, no, I'm gonna wear that. I swear, I'll show you the tweet. He tweeted like he you had
to at you.
Yeah, so if you were wearing that, he said like you can't wear stuff like that.
What? Why not?
Because I guess you gotta dress up, like look nice all the time if you go out. Like if you go out and like it was a Zelda shirt, like something I would be wearing right now.
Wait, how? Why did he tweet at you? Like,
he tweeted that out. Like if you wear this,
okay.
you're.
Oh, he said he tweeted at you.
I'm sorry, but he replied to me like,
Oh.
I said something. I forgot. I gotta show you, but I just thought of that because I thought it was funny. Because I hate dressing up, but
yeah, I never dress up.
Yeah.
Fuck, I don't give a fuck.
Sorry, that was. I just had to bring that up because he was like one of the few people that like I guess
actually,
really popular.
Yeah, he's pretty popular. Yeah.
Yeah, and I just thought it was funny.
Yeah, it's funny. But yeah, anyway, I watched his review of this game, and he did propose. I didn't really agree with everything he thought, but I did think that his he had one suggestion about the story I thought would have been a lot better if they would have done like instead of like all of Ellie's arc and like all of Abby's arc spliced it in, you know, so like a little bit of Ellie, a little bit of Abby.
I was thinking the same thing.
And you know what? That would have solved the problem you just mentioned of like starting over from the beginning where you have no weapons again as Ellie or as Abby, right? You would have been at the same stage as Ellie and Abby at that point.
It's just head scratching.
It is. It's a weird. I think they tried to experiment, and I think that's a lot of it. I think was they didn't know if it would work. They were just like, let's try it. Let's be different. You know, let's just.
I don't like change now. I mean, I was bold.
It's bold.
I can't think of another. Metal Gear Solid 2. You never played it, but they do something very similar to this, where you can play as a completely different person from what you expected. Like in the trailers, they had demos where no idea, but that was more putting a lens to the player. Like the player the person you play with, Raiden, represents you. And Solid Snake, he's like the ideal, like what you think you are. You're not a hero. You're not like a spy. You're just a rookie that doesn't know anything, and it's a whining little baby that whines to his girlfriend on Codex. It's like I guess it makes more sense in that story, but like and with this, like with the bait and switch and like playing as Abby, like how they put it, and Ellie in the beginning, it feels like two different games. Yeah. And like you said, they should have spliced it back and forth, like how documentaries do with like opposing sides.
Yeah. Like
one side talks and then the other side like opposing back and forth. Because I did a documentary on my brother's basketball league, and I had him talking in the beginning, mostly, and then I transitioned to like a professor, and my professor that he graded me on was like, you should have like spliced it back and forth. So like as soon as that happened, I'm like, I just thought of that. I'm like, yeah, it's just too one sided, and I feel like you're just starting over, and like it doesn't feel like natural to me.
It feels like a disjointed story. I think it feels like you instead of playing one cohesive story, you're playing a bunch of mini stories together. Or they're not even mini because they're so long.
No,
it's like you're just playing a lot of stories at once.
It took me 29 hours to beat this.
Yeah, it's long.
And the first one was like 14 hours, maybe.
I don't even know, but this is definitely twice the length.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable, the scope of this
And
game.
I do not like long games. I like short games. So if you like long games with not much different gameplay, it's for you.
I wouldn't have cared if it was longer if I would have felt like the scenes weren't slower.
Yeah.
I think if there was more action, and I don't mean just like, oh, I'm killing people. I mean like literal like things that I think are important, like
Mm-hmm.
scenes where there's character development, even where I feel like the development is important to the theme. That's fine. The Last of Us, I go into it expecting a cinematic experience.
Yeah, but most of it is just contrived encounters. Like, oh, there's some more people. Let's put some more gameplay. Like, oh, like you're the Last of Us. Like, tell me the story.
Yeah.
Like, do something else. Like, you don't need stop it.
Yeah.
You're doing too much. You're not just a gameplay focused game. You're story too. So mix it better. So that's what I want in the future. Shorten it up, make it more concise, better structure, but and maybe like innovate more on the gameplay. Because I mean, it's I don't know. Do you feel it's like it had enough?
I feel like there's so much that's working with it that I
It's
would love to see them try new things, but I don't want them to reinvent the wheel with
okay.
gameplay. I think what they did with this one in terms of gameplay was exactly what I wanted.
Okay.
They took the things that I thought were working and improved a lot of core mechanics.
I think I'm feeling that way because the game was so long. I feel like I got tired of doing the same thing over and over again
Yeah, I guess,
in
but
different situations.
I think there was so much different weaponry, and there was a lot of different scenarios where they changed things up, right? Like I mentioned, like the part where you can like unhook a clicker that they had like chained up and they were like
Yeah.
shooting, or unhook an infected and they would run after. I love those scenarios in this game where there's
They
two
do have
different
differences.
factions of people fighting against each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's actually a Metal Gear Solid 4. I think they took a lot of inspiration from that series. But like two different factions are fighting, and you don't fight them, which I really liked for that game. But I like actually, yeah, it was variety to like the sections, not like the people, but like the environment, like when you can go on the water, go around them. I like that, and like and it brought a new element to it when you can crouch under stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I love that.
Yeah.
That makes it so much better because like in the other one you just crouch and like, but in this one you can prone, like you go on and stuff. And
Yeah.
You can like
through the
surprise,
grass
yeah.
too. Yeah.
For there's one last thing about the combat, I was still really enjoying it at the end, even like you were talking about when you shoot the like free the infected.
Yeah.
Like even like 30 hours in, like I was having so much fun still, like
Yeah.
experimenting with the weapons and like just the gory, crazy things that happen to people in this, like you losing limbs, blowing people up. That's just so fucking satisfying, and I feel like that was like the best part of it. And I feel still have the feeling that I want to play this game again, even though I was so tired of it. Some parts I hated it, and then I love it again. So that's like my overall, like I love the gameplay.
I absolutely want to play it again too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And but like the story, I just meh.
No,
I feel like I don't
agree.
need to experience it again.
Yeah, no, I want to play the game again, but you're right. I don't think, and maybe I'll feel differently, when I replay it. And it took me days to even think about how I felt about this game. Like,
Yeah.
I can't remember the last time I've consumed a piece of media where I was just like so taken aback. I didn't know what I felt.
Mhm.
Like, it's weird that I don't know what I'm feeling. Like, I usually know if something pissed me off or I enjoyed it a lot. In this game, I couldn't tell. Sometimes maybe it was a bit of both. But I was left just dumbfounded.
Yeah, after I beat the game, I was like, I don't even know what to say. Like, what happened?
Yeah.
It was something else, and now I'm thinking about it. It wasn't a failure, but it failed to meet my expectations. How about that?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Well, like I said at the beginning of this whole thing, it was never gonna meet the expectations I had.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I would agree with that statement.
I wanted to say one thing about the aftermath of this.
Yes.
So, people are fucking idiots.
Toxic.
Everybody is toxic. Toxic. People online started harassing the director of the Last of Us and also the voice actor who does Abby, saying like, "Oh, you killed Joel." He's a fictional character. You can't kill somebody that is not real. Oh, she has nothing. She is a voice actor. She acts in a role. What are you doing? Are you that you have no life at all that you have to harass people and make people like gamers look 10 times worse than they already do? You're making things worse for people. I know it's the vocal minority, but it pisses me off
No, it's
so
bullshit.
much.
It's stupid.
And
It's
like did you see some of the stuff they were saying? There was
I read an
Neil
article about it.
Druckmann. He posted.
I saw
It
the
was
post. Yeah,
like what is like death threats? Like what?
people are
It pisses
sick,
me
man.
off. Like
Like
oh
there's so many toxic fan bases out there. I mean, like you have it with a lot of things that I like. You know, like even like Tool. Like there was death threats that like if they didn't release the long-awaited album that they were gonna kill like Maynard and Danny and shit. And then what's another one like Rick and Morty. Like that fan base is just disgusting too. Same way, like again, like because they take so long to create stuff and
yeah.
like uh
It's just I don't want to. It's just everybody. Like there's no fan base. That's can you think of one that's not like
there's no
big?
fan base that's pure. I mean, you're always
Yeah.
gonna have toxic fans. I think there are some fan bases that, for some reason, the fan base is just more toxic than others. I think with this game, you have such a large crowd of people that like it. It's a very popular game, so I
Yes.
think it's just natural that there's gonna be a lot of fans, or I don't know, could I call them fans? People that play this game that are gonna be upset to a degree it doesn't make sense. You know?
And people are getting mad that they included like trans people. Like I'm not. I want. Never mind. I'm not gonna talk about that. Fuck you. Like let them do whatever they want to do. It's like it's just
Right.
creepy. It's creeps online.
It is.
If people should not be have access to the internet. Sometimes it's just
I mean, like even if we didn't agree that maybe they didn't handle, the trans storyline as good as they should have, like being inclusive is important. I think that that's really important. I don't think being transphobic is a good way to go about it. You know, I haven't seen any of that shit. I haven't read any really. I only watched the one review, Cosmonauts review. And that's really the only thing I saw was like a reaction to this game. But I saw also, I guess, the article about Abby's actor being harassed, which is just again like why
and it was affecting her because she did an interview and she started crying up like she was tearing up
yeah.
crying about like it affect like I people like who makes like very popular media they don't get enough praise like go on Twitter like go like whoever like way you can support them let them know that you enjoy their stuff like let them know because I feel like they don't get enough of it.
They don't. They hear it
I
because
hate
the
it.
the more vocal people are always the negative ones, or
Yeah.
the people that are like harassing, like to the point where like you don't have. And you know what? I hate it. Like for me, I don't get what these people think they're entitled to. You're not entitled to. No one's
That's their story, not yours.
right. You're a fan of it because you like it. No one is entitled to that. I mean, like they can make whatever story they want. You don't have to like it. I think it's fine. I'm not saying you have to like their thing, but don't get mad when you didn't like it and you didn't get what you wanted. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, just
You were never entitled.
don't buy it.
Yeah.
You can say like your constructive criticisms, like, "Oh, I didn't enjoy it," but you're attacking the people that made it. Like, what is?
I don't get it. It's mind blowing to me.
I just want to shout them out, like, "Fuck you," and like, the message for me is like support the people that make your favorite things more. Like, let them know because I think like now more than ever you can reach out to your favorite artist and you can like give them some praise, like give them like just like thanks, just say thank you or something like that. Because I don't really do that as much as I think I should. Like now, but now like seeing this, it's like opened my eyes. Like people are affected by this. Yeah. Like you don't think about it like oh like in like this situation I think like oh I can handle it, but I've never been in a situation where like thousands or like hundreds of people are harassing me, calling me names, like saying the worst things that you can think of.
Yeah.
And like there's not everybody's like as strong as willed and like can handle that. So I think we need to balance that out.
What's the intention? What are you accomplishing by doing that?
Nothing. People hate their lives.
Yeah.
And they need to make other people miserable. People are just miserable and they just need to do that. But that's I just wanted to say that about that. But
Fuck you people.
Yeah. Well, one more thing, and I like after that, like thinking about it and how Ellie was, I feel like it's like her bloodlust for like trying to kill Ellie, like the revenge. I feel like it's comparable to how the fans are reacting to Joel being killed. Like they want to kill Abby, but they want to kill the voice actor, and I think that was like fucking beautiful. Now it's like it's like a like unfortunate consequence of like the reaction of it.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's like I'm more proud of them for doing it now, like having the balls to making a story like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it wasn't perfect. It wasn't perfect. I'm still gonna criticize you.
Oh, we're gonna criticize the shit out of
Yeah,
you. Yeah.
but I appreciate the bold move because they could have made a safe.
They could have.
This was not safe at all.
No, it was not safe. They took a lot of risks.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they were like, you know what? You might like it. You might not. Good luck.
Yes.
Which is bold nowadays. I think they knew that they were gonna get so much traffic for it, even if it was a shit game. Even if it was like the worst game ever, they could, they would have sold it.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's so much hype going in. I think they knew that for sure.
Yep. I think they lost a lot of fans, but
that's okay.
Yeah,
that's okay. I think you lose fans when you do what you want sometimes, and that's exactly what I think an artist should be. You're not entitled to fans, and they're not entitled to you making what they want.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I really appreciate Neil Druckmann's balls in this one for sure,
and like the whole team.
Yeah.
But don't overwork your employees.
Yeah, don't do that. All right, it's finally time. You ready?
Yeah.
For the thing, we're not sure how to score this motherfucker. I came to a score. I think I do. And I think I might change it in the future. Ooh, if I play it again.
I've done that with games. Like, I have a initial score.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's like 7, 8, 9 or something like that. Then I think about it, oh, this lower or higher. But like years later, I'm like, that's not as good, or it's better than I thought. So yeah. It's not concrete. Opinion. Okay, I'll go first.
I want to hear it first.
Okay. At first, I was thinking, like, this is better than the first. Like I said, like
score out of 10, by the way.
10. I was thinking like maybe this is better than the first one because I don't know. I was just so emotional at the end. I was thinking about it. I was like, oh man, there's too many problems in the beginning because like the end is so strong. So, gameplay, great. Graphics, presentation, great. Story just kind of falls short for me. So, I give it 8.5 out of
10. Okay. I gave it 8.3 out of 10.
Are you serious?
We were close. I was like, ooh. When you said 8, I was like, shit, what do we have the same score? It's close. It's close.
Oh.
But I give it 8.3. I don't, because a lot of it.
I mean, it's basically the same score.
It's close, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, like the biggest thing is that I think the reason for my scoring, it was the story. It's a story focused game. It's a game I go to for story.
Yeah.
And the story I thought had some major weak points.
It's not Overwatch, so.
Right. So. Yeah, no, I think that was a big reason why, I didn't give this a higher score. I would give the first one probably a 10. I love that game. It's my favorite game. But
yeah, 10. I think it's just the AI and that it always bothered me. So I'll have to give it a 10.
Even if I don't think it's like, I admit that's a problem. It's not perfect, but I would give it a perfect score because I love it so much. And like everything that I really required to be like involved and invested in the game was there. So that's why I would give it a 10, right? So, but anyway, that's my reasoning. And I think that, again, like I'm probably going to play this game in the near future and I'm going to change my mind. I'm going to be like, I like it more. I might like it less. I don't know. But I think a lot of it was working. Like we said, like the gameplay was really working. There was times I really felt intense. Like I was nervous. Like my heart was racing.
Yeah, I was in I felt like I was them and I felt like so good killing. I feel bad, but it's just so fun. Like the murdering people in the grotesque ways. Like they're gargling on their blood. I love that type of stuff, and I don't care if you judge me for it. It's fun. It's like it prevents me from being an actual killer. Okay, I really think that games helps me not be a murderer because I hate most people.
I hate most people too.
Okay, so it helps.
We bond over our hatred of humans.
We don't hate you. Okay, if you're watching, if you got 2 hours in, I don't hate you.
I might.
Don't talk to me, but I don't hate you.
I might hate you. I might not. I might hate you. I don't care.
Okay. Okay. So
I hate everyone. I'm sorry.
So why did you get that score?
Again, I just felt like like I said, the story was a big thing. I didn't think the story met the expectation I had. So the story brought it down a lot of points. The gameplay was still really good though. I enjoyed parts of it. I think it's too long. It fatigued me. But overall, I think if the game was shorter, what was there that was working was really working.
If the game was shorter, I'll probably
Yeah.
be closer to a 10.
I mean, you have to take the score as the sum of its parts, right? So you can't just like if I was to score it on individual things, I might give certain things a 10.
Mm-hmm.
I give
like the
certain
presentation, I gave it a 10.
Probably. Oh yeah, 100%.
Like yeah, and the gameplay is close to a 10. Like I think.
Yeah.
And but the story just.
Yeah, an aggregate score, it's 8.3, 8.5.
Yeah,
pretty close. I'm surprised yours is higher. I thought you were gonna be more critical.
I was critical at first, but I just it felt like the game it stuck with me a lot.
Yeah.
And my initial reaction is never right to me. Like
that's how I feel too. I feel like even like now, like after like I was writing my notes for this, review, and like it was easier to come to a score. But like immediately after, I was like, I don't even know how I feel about this game.
Yeah. It's just like the gameplay is like it probably more important to me than you. I don't know if that's true.
I still care a lot about gameplay. I just think with Last of Us particularly, like story is hugely important for me.
Yeah, it's like, but like it's almost equal to me. If I'm having so much fun playing a game, like, because some people are saying
I
like
feel the same way.
You think so?
I could play a game that yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of games I play where I thought the gameplay was great, probably, and just like
whatever
story was
story. Yeah, but like with this, like some people are saying like, oh, it took me out of it. I don't even care to play it, but I'm having so much fun still, even if I didn't care.
Yeah.
And like even at the very end when you're in Santa Barbara, I'm like having the time of my life, still playing, and I'm almost 30 hours into it. Like the very last section, I'm still having a fucking ball killing people.
Yeah, when you actually are playing, I think it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I wasn't expecting it that much. I had fun with The Last of Us original, but I just had so much more fun in the gameplay. And I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
So, if they just had the story, this probably would have been my favorite game. Maybe if all time, at least top 5, but The Last of Us original, still the best, the better one. Alright. Woo. So, until next time, Preferred Dimension. What do you want to review next? My foot?
What?
My foot?
I don't want to ever see your foot, let alone
I don't like
think about it long enough to review it.
Yeah. My feet have been, like, it used to be a 10, now it's like a 7.5. It's got...
I love the honesty though.
I just gotta be honest. Like you get the honest reviews.
We're gonna review coronavirus. Because that was no. We joked about doing that though as a joke.
Yeah, then it got too real. And it like delayed everything.
I think we expected it to be this. It's ruined the world, man.
It really is. This year is the most historic year in a long time.
Yeah.
And we're just living in it.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Until next time.